always on the other side. Now you're standing right in front of me. You were always in the back of my mind. Now you're standing right in front of me. You were always on the other side. Now I'm searching for the air to breathe. You were always in the back of my mind. Always knew you were the enemy.
Doesn't the cactus flower need time to bloom? I think I found you in a cartoon with a crooked hat and face like a moon. You share your flowers with all around. I look at you because you seem found. Close your eyes, hear that sound. There's a pile of sweaters filled with holes, and empty cabinets filled with prose. The world's pretty, but the sky's too loud. Can't read signs and my brain's a cloud. I'm holding paper flowers, unlighting melted candles, and sipping day-old coffee from mugs that don't belong to me.
Run it up, not much time, gotta press my luck. Run it up, living my life, gonna call your bluff. Run it up, not much time, gotta press my luck. Run it up, living my life, gonna call your bluff. Run it up, not much time, gotta press my luck. Run it up, living my life, gonna call your bluff. Run it up, not much time, gotta press my luck. Run it up, living my life, gonna call your bluff. Run it up, you were always on the other side. Run it up, I'm searching for you. Run it up, you were always in the back of my mind. Always living my life.
Flying high, gliding by, resting on the cloud, whispering through the sky. I made this shit for you and I'm living by that do or die. Do you wanna ride in a caddy and chop it up? I got the sauce, just need the bread so I can sop it up. Say it ain't easy just to pock it up, cause we ain't pock enough, nah. Fly your way on my Zephyr to a whole new sector with a whole new spectrum where the words get collected in y'all.
I would like to be traded to any other team but the New England Patriots.
Big brain predictions. That's what I got.
Take it off, sir.
The Washington football team beat the Steelers.
Right.
And that person.
EDP.
Yes, but if you lose this game, I firmly believe we do not need to make playoffs. So
Don't you ever disrespect
What is going on, folks? Welcome back to After Further Review. This is episode 59. I am your co-host, Jalen Brown.
I'm your other wonderful co-host, Shaquille Brown.
Shaq, this week we are once again joined by our lovely, fantastic fellow co-hosts right here. We have Malin, we have Evan. Malin, how's it going?
It's going good. Model of consistency. If you want to use another word besides lovely, I'd appreciate it next time.
Nothing wrong with that. Evan?
Doing good. Been watching Succession lately. Great show.
Succession, huh?
Great show.
I hope the Giants have a succession plan to Daniel Jones after this year.
It's called replacement.
I think you mean John Mara and David Gettleman.
Yeah, you can lump them in there too.
Evan's whole mood right now is this pink lavender, and you gotta try to kill it 30 seconds into the show, man.
Sorry. Shaq said, "Welcome to my world."
Hey, y'all. You never have a good vibe.
Folks, if you are not aware, if you're just listening to this show, first of all, God bless you, because man, are you missing out on the video version that we live stream every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can watch it on the Melheim's Media YouTube channel. The link is the first one down in your podcast description. It is the big bold letters that say watch the video version here. So if you click on that, you will not be misled. So yeah, you can watch us live, or if you can't watch us live, you can just watch the replay whenever you want to. So there is that. Moving right on into things, we of course want to mention our preseason records or preseason prediction records. Shaq and I predicted every game last year.
Man's over here trying to hint before we forget, or one of the full shots before we
Yes, we're going to once again for week number however many
59.
take our customary shot. Cheers, gentlemen.
I love the
Thank you. Hydration.
Your shot of water.
hydrate, feel great.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
Dehydrate, don't feel great. Easy to remember. Yep. So, folks at home, that's also a little tip for you. If you want to enjoy the show more, drink along with us, and I guarantee you the show will come easier for you.
Can't promise you that much.
Definitely.
Yeah, so Shaq and I predicted every game before the season started. Right now, Shaq has made a roaring comeback. He's only 2 games behind. I am 88-60. He is 86-62. We both somehow picked the Dolphins to beat the Ravens last Thursday. I don't know why that was, but yeah, I don't know. Miami is just a weird place to win in after the month of September. Seems that way.
For some reason, I don't know why. It's Miami, y'all. Y'all figure it out.
Beats me, but yeah, Jack only 2 games back right now. It's getting a little interesting here, but we'll see come next week. So, hopping into our first topic of the week, and that is our recap of Week 10, and we're gonna start off with the Monday night game just a few days ago. The Rams got blown out in San Francisco, 31-10. OBJ made his debut. Von Miller made his debut. But obviously they still got blown out even with all that being said. Shaq, how concerned are you with Matthew Stafford and the Rams at this point in their season?
I'm a little bit worried about them trying to actually make a good run towards the end of the season. They're making looking pretty bad out there right now in my mentality. So hopefully they pull it all together. That's all.
Are you, with Stafford's history in Detroit, does that play play in your mind? Like, are you concerned knowing that he can be extremely turnover prone for stretches?
That's what I'm concerned about is that it's Stafford. Stafford, unfortunately, I don't know if it's because he was part of Detroit why it was so bad for him, or him alone as a quarterback is just very turnover prone and makes bad decisions. So I'm just worried making sure if he could pull his shit together, make sure he doesn't go back to his old ways or transition, become worse, it might be good.
Malin?
Well, even more than Stafford, I think losing Robert Woods is going to be huge. To the Rams with the torn ACL, and OBJ coming to the Rams. I'm not going to make a whole lot of hay about that because McVay does have a pretty complicated playbook for him to have to learn. So it's going to be a few weeks before you really see what OBJ is going to do in that offense. And then Von Miller, he's still hampered by the ankle. In fact, that ankle almost voided that trade from Denver. Like he barely passed his physical. So they keep showing all these things on ESPN and Fox Sports, but look at all these, people that the Rams are getting. This is a different vibe than what you got from last year when Tampa Bay was adding everybody, because everyone that went to Tampa Bay last year, they contributed. I'm not 100% sure that everyone going to the Rams right now is going to contribute, and Stafford still cannot win big games. He just can't. Like any good team that they play, he comes up small. I mean, how many interceptions does this boy want to throw against the team? It's just like it's almost like he's like, let me do my best Jared Goff impersonation, but he doesn't understand that Halloween was a couple weeks ago, and he doesn't need to dress up as anybody right now. Like, so I don't know. I'm mildly worried about the Rams when it comes to the playoffs, but they're still going to get there. They're still going to have their shot, but it just kind of seems like they're taking a little bit of a step back right now.
Evan?
Yeah, I mean, the last 2 weeks, they lost to Titans, lost to the Niners. Especially this week, I'm not that concerned for the Rams state. I mean, going into the matchup, I think we always reiterate the fact that when Shanahan has Jimmy playing, I think he's something like 26-11 now, something along those lines. And, during the game, they showed a stat where if Jimmy has Kittle, he was 8-2 going into the game. Now he's 9-2. So I think that having Kittle back, and on top of the fact that, Shanahan has Jimmy, he has Kittle, Debo is playing like a true X factor. I mean, I don't know if it was necessarily yes, the Rams looked bad. Stafford looked bad. The defense, we, laud the defense for having, arguably 3 Hall of Famers, and, they go out and let the Niners put up 34. But, I mean, I still do believe that they have all the pieces. I mean, if McVay can get to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff, I think that he can do it with a Matthew Stafford and a much better team.
And you also have to think about Debo Samuel. Like, is he the best wide receiver in the NFC? I know Cooper Kupp has him on stats right now, but he does have Stafford. Just got to pad some stats. But Debo Samuel, he's had Jimmy G throwing him the ball. Okay, and the man still has almost 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns, and on just 54 receptions. Like, he is definitely, and I hate to say this as a Seahawks fan, but there was an argument for the last 2 years, who's the better receiver right now, DK Metcalf or Debo Samuel? And you have to think that Debo Samuel is blowing Metcalf out of the water. Like, he is a legit number 1 receiver in the NFL, probably top 3 in the NFC right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think he's got to be number 1 in the NFC, and this is coming from somebody who has Cooper Kupp on their fantasy team. But like you said, if you gave Stafford to Debo Samuel, like, that would be ridiculous. That the numbers he would put up, Jesus, I can only imagine. But in the DK comparison, I feel like Debo is just a lot less diva-like and not gonna keep dropping balls when he should not be.
Damn.
He's just more. I don't know. He just seems more straight to the point and not put a bunch of extra sauce on it like DK will. But
And before we lose all credibility, I think we all know that Devontae Adams is the number one wideout in the NFL. So, argument
if you take him out of
so, yeah, but Devontae Adams is still the best. I didn't want to sound like a total idiot when I mentioned that saying, but yeah, like Debo is, man, he's been balling the last few years.
Yeah. But anyway, on the Rams themselves, I'm a bit concerned with LA. I'm not. Somebody's got a little jingle. I'm not gonna hit the panic button on them yet, but they are a little alarming. I don't think it is too fair to compare them to last year's Tampa team, like Malin was saying, because that Tampa team was assembled primarily in the off season, and they had the entire year, and like it took them basically like half the year to finally like really get it going. This Rams team is being assembled like on the fly, so it could take them a bit longer.
Oh, they got Leonard Fournette and they got Antonio Brown last year in the middle of the year. I mean, the Tampa team was that they were getting some A-list people in the middle of the year. And so, I mean, that's why I compare, because it just seemed like any free agent last year, Tampa Bay was signing them. And any free agent this year, like the Rams are signing them. So they're kind of trying to go in right now.
I agree. I just think it's the only difference is that it's a lot easier to build chemistry when your quarterback is Tom Brady and you have a 6-7 time Super Bowl winning champion telling you, hey, come to our team. We need you. Fall in line and we'll win games. We'll get to the Super Bowl, rather than someone who has never had playoff success leading the team. So, I mean,
when you say never had playoff success and you never won a playoff game?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I think that's the only difference.
Luckily for the Rams, I do think that they have not the division not necessarily on lock for them, but I like their chances to win the division regardless, which I expect them to do that. Like, no matter what, they do have a tough stretch coming up here in these next few weeks. They've got at Green Bay, at Arizona, Jacksonville is a little gimme in between those two games. But those next three games are going to be very telling if they can just get their chemistry worked out over these next few weeks, because I think that that's just what it comes down to. It's just figuring out how to fit all these new pieces in together and be efficient instead of throwing deep balls into double coverage, because that will lose you games very early on.
Nonsense, it always works.
But yeah, I think over the next before the end of this, not even ended, like this time next month, I think we'll know if the Rams are actual title contenders or not, because like Malin did say earlier on, like they really haven't beaten many good teams this year. I know that people have been really hot on them, but the only great team to beat was Tampa, and then the rest of their schedule so far has been a lot of gimme games in there. So yeah. Anything else you guys want to mention on the LA, or are we ready to move on? Yeah. Staying within the NFC West here, we're going to go to Maryland Seahawks. They got shut out in Green Bay, 17-0. Malin, how concerned are you with your Seahawks?
I like that Shaq is laughing, even though his quarterback's a big fan. So
it just looked like your facial expression as it transitions.
Well, I mean, yeah, it makes me
give it to me. My quarterback is old. His immune system is compromised. You got it.
Listen, my quarterback's still playing with 9 fingers. I don't give a damn what the doctor says. No, am I concerned with the Seahawks? Yes. There just to be a lot of firsts going on this year. Okay, up until this year, Russell Wilson had never missed a start. Right. Up until this year, Russell Wilson had never been shut out. He didn't look like Russell Wilson in this game. I get that he was cleared to play. I don't think that playing in 40-degree weather in Green Bay was the right game for him to necessarily come back with having a finger injury where you fractured it, you tore both your tendons and your ligaments, and you had pins and all this weird stuff. But Mr. Unlimited, as he coins himself, couldn't wait to become that remarkable comeback story and get back on the field. So I get it. But a couple things about this game that really kind of pissed me off. Now, first of all, I'm going to say this. Our offense did not play good enough to win this game. But there's no goddamn way in hell that King actually intercepted that pass in the end zone. Okay? If that was DK Metcalf catching that ball 2 feet in bounds, losing it as he hits the ground, they're going to call that an incomplete pass. So I don't know why the defense gets special treatment. That gets called an interception. And nobody can convince me that Aaron Rodgers actually got that fumble when they were on the 40-yard line. Okay? So I don't know that Seattle wins the game, but I think going into the fourth quarter, it's not 3-0. And anything can happen in the fourth quarter if you're tied or you got a 6-3 lead. Like, anything can happen. The defense is playing better. They did keep Aaron Rodgers from throwing a touchdown. Okay. Only the Saints have done that so far this year. So the defense was playing better. And we do got a lot of – I do think that 9-8 will get you 7 seed in the playoffs. Okay? I believe that. I don't know if you guys do. Did you guys believe that before I go into my little here?
Yeah, absolutely.
9-8 could possibly get it. Okay. So next week we have the Cardinals, okay, possibly without Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. I would like to think that's a winnable game against what happened last week. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Then we got the Washington football team. That's definitely a winnable game. We got a winnable game against the 49ers. We damn sure better beat the Houston Texans. Then you got the Rams. That's a tough one, okay? But 2 minutes left to go in the game. The last time we played them, Geno Smith throws an interception, lose that game, whatever. Then we got the Lions. Not everyone's going to tie the Lions like Pittsburgh did.
I was going to show taking shots.
Yes, always. So then you end the season against Cardinals again. Okay, so what I'm saying is that we have 5 winnable games, like games that on paper you should say Seattle should win, okay? So all Seattle has to do is win one game against the Cardinals. They play them twice, or the Rams. That gets them to 9-8, okay? Now, the margin of error is slim. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I would venture to say that this might be the first time that Russell Wilson and the Seahawks under Russell Wilson has a losing record. But I'm not going to give up hope until all hope is gone, because Russell Wilson still has a way of making magic happen. And we do have 5 winnable games. The rest of the season is not as hard as it was the first half. So yeah, it's pretty bleak. It's not looking pretty. Almost like Shaq's Aeropostale shirt. But we still got a shot. Okay. So that's all I'm gonna say. But those turnover calls, those penalties, that was bullshit. And I don't know how you call offensive holding against Lewis when he's literally falling on his back and not grabbing onto anything while he's falling on his back. So there were some questionable calls in that game, but that's not why we lost. We lost because Russell Wilson probably wasn't good enough to come back yet, and they did not run the ball with Alex Collins enough. But should have been a closer game than 17-0.
Yeah, I'll go briefly on this one. Unfortunately, I do not see them making the playoffs this year. It just seems not in the cards, mainly because of Seattle's offense. It's just too stale. I don't know how else to describe it besides just stale or stagnant. Like they can't hold on to like put together a long drive. Like they're not on the field long enough. Defense I think is playing relatively well. Bend don't break, but when your offense can't go out and keep up with what's going on.
Is that not crazy though? That halfway through the year, we're thinking, yeah, we're not going to make the playoffs because of the offense, not the defense.
Right.
I mean, I get it that Chris Carson has a neck injury. That was a bad re-sign. I love Chris Carson when he's healthy, but he's never healthy. But the fact that we're thinking that Seattle might miss the playoffs because the offense can't hold their own. Yeah, we got Jamal Adams. We're paying him $70 million, and he's got one interception on a single goddamn other thing this year. Dunlap's throwing fucking shoes. The only thing we got going on defense is Bobby Wagner's going to get 100 tackles again, for the 12th straight year. So it's just, I don't know. It just baffles me that the defense is playing better than the offense right now.
Yeah. G Money, shout out to G Money in the chat. He says if the Seahawks can find their running game and Wilson doesn't have to throw it 40 times, they can make the playoffs. Those are some serious ifs.
Hey, G fucking Money. Don't doubt G Money. He wins money in Vegas. I'm just saying. He's lucky.
Evan?
Well, G Money kind of touched on my point. I mean, you can't have your quarterback that's coming off a finger injury throw for 40 times in a game.
Yeah, for a 70-something-year-old quarterback throwing 40 times a game trying to win games. So.
I mean, you can't have that happen. Especially, Malin touched on re-signing Chris Carson. And I think, no, it's not a good re-signing because if you see the workouts that he does over the summer, they're abhorrent. They're fucking so unnecessary for a guy to be like squatting 600 pounds and then doing 50-inch box jumps right afterwards and then wondering why he blows his fucking knee out every season. So it's just like the Seahawks are, for lack of a better word, a shit show on offense. Yep. And, I feel bad for Russell because, he did all of that, staging his game-winning drive with cameras watching him when no one's around, quote unquote. And then, he comes back, throws for 40 times, throws for a pick or two.
I don't feel bad for him. I don't feel bad for him because he asked for that camera to be on him that game because of
I know.
So there's no feeling bad for him. Like, listen, man, if you're going to do all the mock drills, if you're going to get into an imaginary huddle, if you're going to show the videos of you throwing a football the day after you get a pin taken out of your finger, then maybe when you get into a live game, you actually show the fuck up. But he didn't do that. And he has to eat that crow over the fact that, listen, maybe he came back too early, but that's on him, man. Like, he released that he was coming back, not the Seahawks. Yeah. They let Green Bay off the hook because Green Bay could have been scheming for Geno Smith or Russell Wilson all week. But the ego of Russell Wilson made it to a point where he had to be so fantastic about coming back early that he had to let Green Bay know, no, you just got to deal with me and my 9 fingers next week, coming fresh off of surgery that no one's ever come back from this fast. Go ahead and stick to that. So he tipped the cap to the Packers. And if you tip the cap to the Packers, if you let the news out before the Seahawks are able to let the news out, you better come in there and fucking deliver. And when I mean deliver, you're throwing to more than Gerald Everett, a tight end on a 1-year deal. Like, how are you not getting Lockett and DK Metcalf more involved? Let's not even get started about Metcalf and his diva ass getting thrown out of a game, but not realizing he got thrown out of a game, went back into the fucking huddle. Like, get the binky out of your goddamn mouth, go catch a fucking football, get a touchdown, And get back to fucking winning. Now I'm getting angry.
You hear that, folks? Actions speak a lot. Yeah, Russ over there spitting all the words in game. No action, but it's all right. Unfortunately, I agree with Jay. I do not see them making playoffs this season. I see them dropping, of course, unfortunately, one of the games that they should be winning this season. Out of spite, I hope they drop the Detroit game, but my petty ass that guy, not just tie, but I hope y'all find to lose to Detroit.
Not just time.
But I do not see them, unfortunately, making playoffs. There's a lot going on for their offense this season. A lot has happened, and unfortunately.
Okay, and for my credibility, I want to say that do I see them making the playoffs right now? I want to be realistic. Not a fan. I don't. I'm just saying that they do have 5 winnable games, and they only have to win 1 out of the other 3. It could happen. Is it likely the way they're playing right now? No, but it could happen. Like, they're not dead in the water yet, even at 3-6.
Malin, my last question for you is: if they do not make the playoffs and presumably finish the year with a losing record, do you think there are major changes made this offseason?
I don't think there should be major changes made in the offseason. And the reason why I say that is because the defense is getting better week over week. Okay. And I would like to think that, okay, first of all, we beat Pittsburgh if we have Russell Wilson. Shut up, Shaq. I see the look on, his face.
Are we the benchmark? Is that what's happening?
It's not that you're the benchmark. I'm just saying that we
There'd be an extra win under your belt.
Hold on. If you're going 4 straight weeks, right? You got Geno Smith, 1:56 left against the Rams, down 6. Okay. Then you have against the Steelers in overtime, Geno Smith, ball in his hand. Okay. Then you have the Saints game, totally winnable in the 4th quarter. Then, of course, we beat the Jaguars. I would like to think that Russell Wilson healthy, even though the offense have had their issues, 2 out of 3 games, Russell Wilson 4th quarter can make some magic happen. They win those ball games. This year could be looking a heck of a lot different than 3-6. They could be 5-6 or 6-6. I don't know. If Russell Wilson doesn't smack his damn finger on Aaron Donald's helmet, and if you're looking at 6-6, then you really have to think that with what I just laid out with the schedule, they got a good shot at making the playoffs. They have, and now they also have a draft pick in DK Eshridge that had a terrible hit against him with the Colts, and he has not been able to play since then with a concussion. I think he's going to be back next week. Might have been back last week, but they didn't actually put him in the game. They were counting on him in this offense. They finally started getting Gerald Everett in the game. There is some kinks they have to work out, but you have that defense. You have Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. You have Russell Wilson. Get a running back that can stay healthy. I wouldn't blow it up yet. And I don't think that Russell Wilson would want to, because Seattle did everything that Wilson wanted them to do. It's not like they ignored him and he came into the year disgruntled. They did everything he wanted to do. There's just been circumstances that have been keeping them from winning ball games and a lot of health issues that have been happening. And now our left tackle's hurt too, so that kind of sucks. So I wouldn't blow it up yet. I'd give it a little bit more time. So that's my piece.
All right. We're going to move into the last game of the recap. This was Carolina dominating the Cardinals in Arizona, 34-10. Evan, how much faith do you have in the Panthers in the second half of the season now that they have their old MVP back?
I don't think I'm bought into the Panthers just yet. I mean, look, yes, they have Cam back. He's back home, and blah, 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 blah. We can say all this. He's back in Carolina. It's a new system. Cam's older. We really have to see how he fares on this new team. I mean, and he only played 5 snaps maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, 2 of them are touchdowns, but I mean, that's one way to ease a player back in. Now he's projected to start this weekend, so I think he just has to adjust for us to really see and have a verdict on what the Panthers look like going forward. I mean, he has CMC back, I think. Hopefully, he doesn't get injured again. But also this was a win against Colt McCoy's Cardinals, not Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins Cardinals. And I know they had that really big win last week. But I mean, it's Colt McCoy. He's been a backup and he's forever been a backup. So I don't think this is anything special, nor does this win say anything about the Panthers. It's rather just Cam's back. And we just have to see how he does. I mean, I definitely think he will be better than Sam Darnold, but I don't know how far that takes him. So,
Check.
I say they do get hits me say it's actually a little bit better second half of the season. Not saying playoff contender. If they do, they get lucky because of that extra wild card spot that goes in through the thing. But having Cam, somebody who's kind of sort of familiar with the system, coming back to his team, hopefully taking some of the Patriots' state of mind with him and making smart decisions, good throws, because he kind of showed that he had some throwing potential and it's not just take it out and run on his feet. So hopefully he does improve this team as he comes into this team, being comfortable and just playing football, but not saying that they're going to be this all-out great team because Cam is back. Not the case, just small step upward.
So you don't see them making the playoffs?
I don't see them making the playoffs. Something would have to fall apart somewhere else very heavily for them to sneak their way into playoffs. But I do see them making a slight improvement in their team with having Cam back.
Malin?
Okay, well, first of all, any slight improvement is better than the 3 wins that Shaq thought they were going to have throughout this year. But okay, let's. Did anybody actually watch the game? Like, Cam played 4 snaps.
Right.
Okay? He barely made it into the end zone on the running play before he ended up getting a 50-yard penalty because he needed to say 17 damn times that he's back. Okay. We get it. You're back. You're in the NFL. You scored a touchdown. Awesome. And then he threw off of his back foot in the red zone. Got a little bit lucky on that touchdown pass. Okay. This says a heck of a lot more about the Cardinals than it does about Carolina in this last game. Because when Arizona won the week before, they were able to get the running game going. They were able to take some pressure off of someone like Colt McCoy, which is a solid backup, okay? Because 2 weeks ago, Colt McCoy threw for 249 yards and 2 touchdowns. This year, or last week, he threw for 107 yards. Why? Because Carolina got off to that 14-0 score early in the game, and all of a sudden, Arizona couldn't run the ball. That's evidenced by the fact that Connor had 21 carries for 96 yards and 2 touchdowns 2 weeks ago without Murray or Hopkins, but he only had 39 yards last week. Why? Because they couldn't run the game. They got into desperation mode, and they were trying to put Colt McCoy in a position that was outside of what he could really actually manage. And so is Carolina going to all of a sudden become a team that's going to make the playoffs? I don't know. You tell me. Do you have more faith in, Carolina with Cam Newton that played 4 plays, or a team like Minnesota or Seattle going the rest of the way? Like, that's really what it's going to come down to get that 7 seed. And I don't think that Cam Newton is going to propel the Panthers above those other teams to get the 6 or 7 seed in the NFC. We saw very little last week. He's still Cam Newton, but I mean, this is still the Cam Newton that played for the Patriots last year. And I mean, Jalen, you tell me, how many times did you wear that Cam Newton jersey last year? Not a lot, because he wasn't very good. He hasn't been good for a long time. we're talking more about a namesake than we are really what's happening on the field right now when it comes to Cam.
It sounds like I'm the only one on this island, but I've got pretty good faith that Carolina will actually be able to keep riding this momentum that they've got right now. A lot of that will hinge on McCaffrey, because if he goes down again for an extended period of time, you can forget about it. But as long as he's healthy for most of the remainder of the season, I think that the Panthers can actually land that last wild card spot. I predicted them in the preseason to be 8-9, and they're about still on track to do that. Like, their next few games, they've got Washington, Miami, Atlanta. Those are 3 very winnable games for them. If they can win those 3 games, they'll be sitting with 8 wins. And then the rest of their season is pretty tough. They still play Tampa twice. They've got Buffalo in there and New Orleans. But, I mean, if they can just win one of those last few games as well, they'd be sitting at 9-9, I guess, but or not 9-7. But 9-8. Math is fun. Anyway, what I'm saying is the fact that I think that Cam is not so much the focal point here. I think McCaffrey is, as long as he's healthy, they can just clinch the playoffs. I'm not exactly, I'll go as far as to say I was expecting them to make the playoffs. At this point, I like them more than I like Minnesota. I like them more than I like Seattle right now. And that is probably their strongest competition, and New Orleans as well. But if Jameis is out for the rest of the year, then New Orleans is not much of a concern to me. So I like the Panthers.
It's funny that today we're considering Jameis Winston a factor, whether a team is concerning or not.
Right.
So. Mr. 30 for 30.
He had the Saints going there for a minute, but it's unfortunate.
Then he wore off his luck.
It's true. Threw it all away.
Exactly.
So we will move off of the recap here and go right into the L's of the week. And we are going to, of course...
Yes. Stop.
Straight trash, homie.
Very excited to get into this. We're going to, of course, start off with, even though this was not on paper an L, it was in spirit. The Lions nor the Steelers.
You didn't say this was the L's of the week.
I put it up on the screen.
This is the L's of the week, right?
Right.
Yeah, L's of the week, Shaq. Before we go into this,
first of all, wait, let me get to my speech before y'all start. All right.
The Lions nor the Steelers wanted to win and ended up tying 16-16 in Pittsburgh. Mind you, folks, Big Ben was homesick. It was his chicken noodle soup.
Does not matter.
And Mason Rudolph was out there and ended up tying to the Jared Goff led Lions. Shaq, what did you think about this?
To start this off, pardon my French, but I hate this fuck-ass team. It's really... I was at work watching this game, and I swear to God, they were going to fire me for the amount of times I was cussing at this TV in this station. It is a Detroit Lions. I do not care who you have out there as starting quarterback. Please finish the Detroit Lions as a team. It was more of who everyone was playing like, I want to lose. No, I want to lose. Please. But at least win in overtime, but no. We actually could have lost if the Detroit Lions would have missed that freaking field goal in the fourth quarter. I mean, overtime. But it should not have been the way that it went. We still could have won this game even with Rudolph out there throwing the ball around. We should not have let this bum-ass team tie us. Ruin a 4-game, almost 5-game winning streak because we decided Detroit. Yeah. The only thing good thing to come out of that's Eminem, and then all of a sudden we losing to this team.
I have to say, the moment that I heard that Big Ben was out, I was texting Jalen, and I said, Jack's about to get his wish. He doesn't want Big Ben as his quarterback. It's about to happen.
Then I
See what
text you
happens.
earlier that day. It's like, yo, they got really Claypool and Big Ben. I
Oh.
texted Jen, they got Claypool and Big Ben out this game. This is about to be a hot ass mess.
And then, like, okay, watching the whole game, you're right. Like the entire game, it was like, who doesn't want to win, right? But the fact that even Najee Harris didn't know that an NFL game could end in a tie. What the hell? Like, I thought Jonathan McNabb was the last NFL player that could get away with saying, I didn't know you could end in a tie. Like, I thought after that, again. And then Najee Harris said that he was shocked with 1:30 left in overtime. Someone on the sideline said, nah, man, this could be a tie. He was like, oh, shit. Like, what were they playing for? Like, Harris just saying,
Definitely
listen,
not
man.
pride. That's not what they're playing for.
Najee Harris was literally thinking, like, you know what? It might be 6 hours, but I'm about to score a touchdown.
Double OT.
It was insane watching that game. And I knew when Jalen told me that you were at work, I was like, someone's about to get misdiagnosed. Someone's not going to get their ass wiped. Like something bad. I don't know what Shaq does in the hospital, but something bad's going to happen.
No, the way I set it up.
I was like, God damn.
I sit there with the TV in the nurse's station watching the game. Something he's done, I sprint out and go do it real quick, then come back and watch this game. And every time I'd come back, it'd be something else like, this bum ass team upsets me. Every single time I come back and put my eyes on this TV, what is going on right now? This JV team that I'm rooting for.
Evan, did you have any thoughts on this game?
Man, I really thought this was the game where we could see Dan Campbell cry happy tears.
I was closer to crying.
And
you hear that?
I was disappointed. I was disappointed. I really needed the Lions to win this game.
Stop
really
it. Disrespectful ass. I hope you don't
I
try to
really
come back
thought
next week.
this was the game. I mean, Mason Rudolph threw for 50 times. Like
Goff threw for 40 yards the first full quarter of the game. 40 yards.
That's true. That's true.
How are you gonna let a quarterback that threw for 40 yards in regulation tie us at the end of the fucking game?
But you expect that out of Jared Goff, though. But what I really want to get into does not Mason Rudolph look like if Superman was a pedophile, he would look like Mason Rudolph?
We already have one pedophile and rapist on our team. We don't need the second one.
Allegedly.
I thought that Big Ben got his ass in trouble, but I think Mason Rudolph has a past that nobody's getting into yet because he's not winning Super Bowls. But the way he winks at grown-ass men, the way that Mason Rudolph winks at grown-ass men in the huddle when he's coming up in the line, it looks like he's tapping something other than tap water. It looks terrible. It looks like a pedophile. We need to get that out of the way now.
Unfortunately, I see them never letting go of Rudolph for some odd reason. They're going to forever keep him as a secondary quarterback, and it's probably more consistent for me to get a Rudolph jersey than anything else because it's going to be there forever.
So are you saying that Mike Tomlin is going to put himself in a wedding dress with Rudolph, like Mike Ditka did with Ricky Williams on the cover of Sports Illustrated? Are they that married to each other, Shaq?
Almost. Look, we got too many criminals right now trying to play for it. It's bad enough Tomlin might get an assault charge beating his players in the locker room after each game. Because he could just look at Tommy's face and just see the upset.
If they tied I swear to God, I bet he did lay hands on somebody.
Yes. Somebody was getting choked out in the corner of the locker room. But
he laid hands on somebody.
What?
He was walking down the street, smacked some random person because he's just that mad.
It was probably Johnson, y'all's receiver, that
yes. I don't know why we still have him too, but you know what?
Yeah, the Lions are just. I mean, this said a lot about both teams, but Jesus, the Detroit Lions, my God, they're the team that could literally have the W on a silver platter handed to them. They grab the platter and then trip and fall as they try and walk away, and then
yes. And this is where, depending on who you ask, if you ask the Detroit Lions, feel like yes, we tied. Yeah. Studios found like, what is wrong with y'all? I swear to God.
No, it's one of the few times in your life you could say, man, if they had Matthew Stafford, they probably win that game.
Right.
Because Goff is still, we're more than halfway through a football season, and you still can't say that Jared Goff has won a football game without Sean McVay. Like, it's ridiculous. Like,
The kicker I'm saying that kicker would have made that field goal. We were talking a whole different story. I would have drank myself into a coma that day when I got home from work. But we actually, technically on paper, lost. It's bad enough morally we lost this game.
Shaq wouldn't even be here right now. Shaq would go to Miller's Ale House looking for that crazy ass guy to get him to pour some
and ask that man what kind of criminal activities he's doing after this, and I'll join him.
Listen, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how bad my 3-6 Seahawks are because they haven't tied the Lions yet. So
I hope y'all lose to the Lions. I really do. Is that the next game we're watching together? Is that kind of be the next game?
We are not all watching a Lions game together. I would rather gouge my eyes out with a fork.
The next game we're watching together is a Monday night Seahawks versus Washington football team.
Oh,
yes,
that's more entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
Well, no, the Washington football game comes before the Lions game, so we're gonna watch that one together live on a Monday night. I already talked to Jalen about that one.
Look,
because I like misery.
If they start losing, if y'all start losing, I am literally gonna find a way. Look, I'm contacting you. If y'all start losing the Detroit Lions.
Listen, man, come over and watch the game with me. I've given you an open invite with my bourbon bar for weeks, and you don't take me up on it. I'm watching.
I'm just only afraid because I'm gonna be on your property. They start losing now. You can assault me on your property, and I got no stand up in court for that.
He's like, I walked into his house freely. He could have done whatever he wanted.
Exactly, and I'm gonna go to court. It's always gonna be my fault. So.
Listen, man, we're in Florida. I don't have a basement. There's not going to be no.
You don't have to have a basement. Stand your ground. It's all right. Your life felt threatened. That's all you need to say.
All right, let's move off to Detroit. I don't want to talk about the Lions anymore for the rest of the show. Tampa lost their second game in a row to Morgan's Washington football team, 29-19. Heine got his revenge.
The IPA
Heineken. Tom Brady just barely got away from him in the playoffs last year. He swore under his breath, if you ever come back here again, I promise you I will beat you. And he sure did, because Heineken was not messing around last Sunday. Neither was the Washington defense. I don't know if you guys thought this was more just bad Brady or good Washington secondary. There were some wacky interceptions in this game, but it was very pleasant to see Tampa fans just so upset again. Man, it was pretty funny. But yeah, I don't have much to say about this one. Evan?
I don't really have much to say except for the fact that I think they're really missing Antonio Brown. But besides that, I hope Malin is up getting a regular Heineken right now, because Taylor Heineken deserves it.
He does. Shaq?
Can I just say, for people that live in Tampa, we take nothing but pride in watching Tampa fans be upset and be pissed off about Tampa games. Every time I see Tampa, like, as much as I want them to do well, but when they do lose, I'm only happy because I get to have conversations about Tampa fans about how bad they're fucking doing.
Yes, absolutely.
Look at that man popping open. What is that?
Get an alcoholic Heineken today,
Look
baby.
at you. I think that's the first one he popped open all season.
This goddamn time since I started this, the Heineken is 0. He pulled out a win. Did some crazy stuff. Now, the only thing I'll say about this game that's weird is that Tampa Bay right now is finding ways to lose instead of finding ways to win. They're getting some fluky interceptions. Some things aren't coming their way. Even when Chase Long. Now, have you ever seen a person tear his ACL the way that Chase Young did? Like, you didn't even see anything weird happen in his leg. it just all of a sudden, he just pulled up, and even the offensive lineman was like, "Oh shit, I'm not going to touch you because something happened." But in that game, Tampa, nothing worked for Tampa. The run game wasn't working, passing game wasn't working. Any time that they took a step forward, the offense, the defense let something happen. And so they literally were finding ways to lose, which is not typical Tampa football over the last year and a half. But I will say this: we're at the halfway point. Okay, last year at the halfway point, Tampa was 6-5, and they didn't lose again, and they won the Super Bowl. So I'm not going to sit here and say that this is an indictment on Tampa. Because Brady is still Brady until I see him walk out there and he's missing an arm and he can't throw the football. I'm sick and tired of betting against that old ass man eating avocado ice cream until he's just no longer in the league. I think whatever team he plays for has a shot at winning the Super Bowl. But Tampa is finding ways to lose rather than finding ways to win, and that's uncharacteristic over the last year, not year and a half, because they were finding a lot of ways to lose last year in the beginning half of last year. Mm-hmm. That's how they ended up 6-5 and had to end up, being a wild card at 11-5 last year. The only difference this year is that the Saints don't have Drew Brees. So if the Saints had Drew Brees, just like they did last year, Tampa might be looking at another wild card. Maybe they're not fighting. Maybe they don't have a comfortable lead on the division. But, they're still going to win the division. But with this year, with only the number 1 seed having a bye, that's what's going to make it tricky. You got a lot of teams. You got Tampa. You got Green Bay. You got Arizona. You got the Rams. You got Dallas. Only one of those teams is getting a first-round bye. Everybody else has to play in that wild card. So it makes it a lot more interesting going forward. There's a lot more good teams this year than there were last year.
There's going to be a Super Bowl contender getting knocked out really early in this playoff, unfortunately.
Oh, well, you're right, because when you talk about it, right, the Rams, Tampa Bay, Dallas, Arizona, and Green Bay. Out of those 5 teams, one of them is not winning a playoff game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which is wild to think of. All of them are very lethal teams right now.
Yeah, because you can't get into the divisional round with 5 teams. So one out of those 5 is going home very disappointed.
Yes. Going from being called a Super Bowl contender to be a one-and-done type of team at the end of the day. So
I think
my bet's on that.
Yeah. I didn't want to say it, but man said it for me. So anyway, the Raiders got destroyed in front of their own fans in their own brand new stadium too. They got destroyed 41-14 by Kansas City. Do you guys think this was more bad Raiders, or are the Chiefs back? Is this Kansas City's over their funk and they're just destroying the Raiders because they're back in the swing of things?
I was just gonna say bad Raiders. I feel like my faith is still kind of wish-washy on KC and what they're doing right now, but I think it's bad Raiders football. And can I say getting your shit kicked in on your own home turf, to me is kind of like somebody breaking into your house and beating your ass, not taking anything, but then just leaving. Like just broke into your house, just beat the shit out of you and just leave. That's what it's just the disrespect that comes with that. That's what it's like to me. And your family's all in the living room just watching you, just swinging out. Got your kids and your wife just on the couch, just sitting there. Just...
Shaq, well, that is typical things that happen in Vegas. There's plenty of people walk into a casino, drop some money down, they lose it all, they walk out, getting their ass beat. And they're like, "Shit, I walked into your house, you whooped my ass, and I'm leaving." But I do think that this is more the Kansas City. Okay, so I think it's half and half. And the reason why I say this is that until that game, Kansas City was last in their division, right? The Chargers, the Raiders, even the Denver Broncos, they all had a shot at taking down the Chiefs over the last few weeks while the Chiefs were struggling. And even though the Chiefs struggled against Green Bay, there was a play in the fourth quarter, I think it was a 3rd and 6, where Mahomes had one of his magical passes to Tyreek Hill. It was one of those sidearm looking like you're playing shortstop, okay? And when I saw that pass, I thought to myself, I was like, damn, like maybe Mahomes is going to get some of that magic back. And what does he do? Comes into this game, goes for 5 touchdowns, beat the hell out of the Raiders. Somebody that they're, like kind of establishing dominance again. And they go from last in the division to first place in 1 week. That has to be the first time that's ever happened. So the AFC West, all 3 of those teams, the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Broncos, they had a chance over the last 4 weeks to make the AFC West unwinnable, and they stumbled while the Chiefs were not playing good. Now all of a sudden they're going to start kicking the shit out of people again. And everybody else, like someone's going to lose their job in the AFC West. Like some coach has to get fired for letting the Chiefs go from worst to first in 1 week. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, G Money says, I don't believe the Chiefs are back yet. The Raiders just really aren't that good. Yeah, I do think it is kind of both. Unfortunately, like Malin was just saying, like those other 3 teams did have this entire half of the year to put some considerable distance between them and Kansas City, and they kept fucking around and losing games that they shouldn't have been losing. I'm looking at the Raiders losing to the Giants. Jesus. So much Raiders have had so much momentum this year and so much hype, and they just threw it away. And it's like, that the Chiefs at some point are gonna turn this thing around, at least to some degree. So,
but even the Chargers had the same option. Like Herbert decided to have 3 of the worst games in his career. Yeah. Okay, I don't think anyone really thought that Small Hands Teddy and the Broncos would actually win the division. And if anyone thought that the Broncos were going to win that division, y'all sort of watched the way that Teddy dodged that defender on that pick 6. Did any of y'all see that? Yes. You guys see that? He went like I'm just playing. I'm just like, go ahead, score. And then he looked real disappointed that he scored. And I was like, all you did was like do a little head fake. Like, no, go ahead, score. The Broncos were going to win this division. The Broncos were never going to win. But
no. They could have been in first place the whole entire time, and something would have happened to cause them to.
Okay, but the Chargers lost 3 out of 4 when they had the division in their hands after the first 5 weeks of the year. And the Raiders have been playing better, even without Gruden. It's wonderful what can happen. I have a race. So they've been playing better, and I do think Derek Carr galvanized that team on a leadership standpoint, but that was going to run out eventually. But just to let the Chiefs do what they've done, play as bad as they've played, and be first place in the division, that's just criminal.
Unfortunate, but that this is the Chiefs' world we are possibly still living in. Next up, New York continues to watch their teams get treated like doormats, even when the person stomping on the mat is another fellow New Yorker. The Jets get clapped up by Buffalo 45-17. This is the 3rd time this season someone has scored 45 plus on the New York Jets.
I don't got much to say. This is Jets, y'all.
Yeah, me neither.
Jets, I don't know what y'all want from me.
That was the best thing that ever happened to the Jets.
Being bad?
No, that's the best thing that ever happened. You want to know why? Because the Jets needed to see that White at quarterback was not going to be the answer. because he had that one game against Cincy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Threw for 436 yards, won the game. Then he got hurt the next week. There was always that what if, like, what if he's actually better than Zach Wilson? And Jets fans were going to clamor to that. Jets fan needed to see White be white and be bad, so that there wasn't that tug of war between the backup and who should be the heir apparent. Now, the only thing that's terrible is that Zach Wilson still isn't able to play next week, and the Jets announced today that Joe Flacco is going to start at quarterback. So the Jets are still going to be the Jets. Yeah, old man Flacco ain't won a game since 2012 when he won the Super Bowl, I think. So the Jets are still going to be the Jets, but the Jets fans needed to be reminded why White was who he was and that he's not the heir apparent to Joe Namath. They needed to see him be bad, because if he had just hurt his arm 2 weeks ago and never played again, you know what Jets fans would have done. They were like, nah, man, White needs to be the franchise quarterback. You know they would have done it. They needed to see how bad that man could be. And they saw it. Now they get Flacco, which is what they deserve.
No offense to Evan, because I know he's a New York person, but any New York team has not been good since the Manning has played there, unfortunately.
True.
That's
extremely true. That is very true.
It's painful.
And I compared Mike White.
The Nets.
Right. The Nets now, but look where the Nets are now, player-wise.
Evan, don't let Shaq take that shot at you while he had Rudolph quarterback in his team like
First of all, don't take shots at me. At least I know where I'm at. I still got like multiple rings on my franchise to flex at the end of the day.
Now he's gonna be appreciative.
All I'm saying, you taking all these
shit about Roethlisberger.
How many Super Bowls y'all won?
59 episodes, but now all of a sudden he's gonna talk about the rings laid out. No,
I was talking about the now when I bitch about my team, but now since we're gonna bring up past, how many rings y'all got?
Oh well, okay. Let's talk about this because I'll go ahead and be Evan's friend here.
How many rings y'all got combined?
How many times did Pittsburgh beat New England on the way to the Super Bowl? Because I think Evan's Giants beat Brady twice in the Super Bowl, so maybe you might want to clap a little bit quieter over there, Shaq.
First of all, my team does nothing but get our cheeks clapped. So
be quiet. I'll talk all the shade for Evan. Evan don't even got to say nothing. Somebody,
why is it that when somebody's roasting me on the show, I get no defense whatsoever, but I roast one person and the whole entire show defends this person because
somebody tried to beat Brady and it was not the Steelers, it was Evan's Giants,
and they have not won a single title since Manning, or he came close to even having a winning record. But I'm not saying that. I appreciate the Giants as a franchise before this chaos. But thank you for hating on me, Malin. Thank you for that.
The Cowboys.
Thank you, Joe. Joe's gonna let us bicker and roast before.
Evan was in the middle of saying something before you wanted to start kind of inserting.
All I was gonna say was, I think it's comparable to another New York sensation in Jeremy Lin. That's all I had to say.
Oh!
Yeah.
You're talking about White? Oh!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Jeremy Lin actually won multiple games.
Yeah, I was going to say, Linsanity was for a little while. White was for a
little while, but I think that the buzz that was generated by Mike White was definitely comparable to Jeremy Lin's.
Sad. That's when you know you're just sad.
Okay. That is so much shade because he wants to talk about Linsanity instead of like the fact that the Knicks had Amari Stoudemire and Carmelo Anthony and couldn't do anything.
Hey, 54-28 with Mike Woodson as the head coach.
Yeah, I told you we were going to talk about basketball at some point, Jalen. We were going to talk about basketball.
I was also saying the Nets were a KD toenail away from going in the finals last year. Like New York is not entirely bad.
Just this season, a very questionable team. This season.
Maybe KD should have, I don't know, got the pedicure or something.
Or not wear a size 62 shoe.
Not gonna win the finals last year. I don't care what you say, KD. Come on, man. Like his head is almost as bald as mine, but you don't want to shave it up. Y'all seen the spot, right? Like it's the side of the spot of basketball, even though it's down to a Wilson ball.
We're not going to spend any time on KD's hair on this show. We all know it needs to go, and that is all it needs to be.
I was about to say, it's bad enough he spent every moment of every show talking about my hair. There's not a single show that don't go by that he's talking about my head.
First of all, we only talk about your forehead, Shaq. Shut up. At some point, Michael Jordan knew he needed to shave his head, and there's a lot of players in the NBA, LeBron and Durant included, that need to start picking something. That's all I'm saying.
Some executive decisions need to be made. Anyway, the Cowboys. They beat down the Falcons 43-3 in Dallas. This is the second time this year that Atlanta did not score a touchdown. And this is the fifth time they've given up 30-plus points. This was completely embarrassing. I don't really have much to say about this game. I was wondering while just kind of watching it, who the hell had the gall to pick Matt Ryan in fantasy this week, and then Shaq alerted me that Matt Ryan had less than 1 point in fantasy.
Matt Ryan was quarterback last week. That man had 0.7 points in fantasy last week. I was like, I hate this man. So you actually have to try to not get a point in fantasy, especially as a quarterback. You literally have to. That's like a conscious effort. It's like, who am I fucking this week with not scoring anything whatsoever?
I was convinced Matt Ryan had his helmet on backwards that entire game.
Let's just say I quickly made sure to remove him from whatever starting lineup that I had going on. I was so upset.
Malin, Evan, any thoughts on the Falcons? I'm not giving the Cowboys any credit. I don't give a damn.
Here's what I said about the Falcons. When you have Calvin Ridley just kind of piecing out, saying, you know what, I'm not playing right now. That should tell you something. But you should still think that Matt Ryan should score more than 1 point in fantasy. I mean, the man has still completed almost 68% of his passes with like 15 touchdowns. He's averaging like 260 yards a game. And they do have, who I believe in Kyle Pitts, could be the best tight end in the NFL in a couple of years. So to have that piss poor of an offensive display is one thing. But I do think that Dallas was just angry from losing the week before. And they were going to do whatever they needed to do. I mean, how many times are you going to run Dak Prescott when the man's dealing with a calf issue? Like, what are you trying to prove that Dallas is trying to do here? I'm happy because I got Prescott in a couple of my fantasy leagues. But if they could not have that man run some bootlegs in the red zone and almost act like maybe you're paying a shit ton of money to Ezekiel Elliott and maybe he could score a touchdown, that'd be great. But he's starting to look like pudgy Zeke instead of fit Zeke. I honestly don't think, like, because we're going into the time of year where the Salvation Army is going to start coming around, right?
Anybody
like, what is the over-under that Zeke is not going to be able to get into that Salvation Army bucket this year? Like, his ass is going to have to roll into it at this point. Tony Pollard should be the starting running back for the Cowboys. But it was a get well game.
Let's not say that. I got Zeke as running back for my fantasy. So
yeah, well, that's sad because you thinking you getting 2016 Zach like you wearing that 2016 Apostle shirt. But like seriously, They need to give Tony Pollard the ball more. He's a better running back right now. And this was almost like Alabama playing Citadel in college football. Like it was a up game. They were going to roll them up. You don't get Jerry Jones saying you weren't prepared and you took people for granted 1 week and not expect them to come out the next week because Jerry Jones will kill a man. Look at him. He doesn't have a lot of years left. The man wants a Super Bowl.
I'm still waiting for the hashtag Shaq Lives Matter for the sake of the way they all abuse me on the show. I need to see this in the live feed and the chat. And
Shaq, next week, come on the show with a hat and no shirt on. Just go just take away all of the
I can't do a damn thing in this shirt. Y'all just come out attack. The only person that got treated maybe worse than me was Ryan. Ryan went on and put a whole ass jacket on because of mail-in the other week.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Mail talking about this man's crease in his shirt.
He ended up throwing up in the sink, man. That was disgusting. I went into the bathroom with his hand in the sink full of puke. That was disgusting. But no, man. Like Dallas is going to be Dallas. They're going to win a lot of games. But Atlanta really just kind of rolled over and just played dead. Like it was stupid. I apologize about the shirt comment, Jack. Not really. I love you.
We're gonna take a break. We'll be gone for about 7 minutes or so, and then when we come back, we've got some news to get into, and then we'll finish up the show with the Ride or Die 5. So we will be back in about 7 minutes.
Last man standing wins. Team Sonor is the 12th pick. Just that fast. Going back in. Who's going next? Pick 11. Oh, Team Nestor goes. Let's get these out of the way. It's a methodical process. Oh, Team Johnson goes next. Pick number 10. Didn't even care to eat it. Who's next? Oh, Washington football team, DC. Oh, hold on, technicality. The checks is still on the table. Going back in. Oh, Sloth goes. Sorry, Uncle Shaq. Gonna take the paper too. Fair enough. Okay, and then, oh man, Team Meyer. Is he gonna take it? Yeah, he's gonna take it. There it goes. All right, who's going next? Oh, D+5 off the board. All right, who's going next? Yeah, the paper does not count. Dowdy goes first, and then Team Lambert. It's going back in. Last four. Who's pick number 4? Team Warren goes at 4. Who's going at 3? Oh, Talking Demon goes at 3. Number 2. Oh, leave your own dad. You put him at number 2. What a shame. Congrats to Morgan, Washington football team, DC, number 1 pick.
I will how about this? Here's my bet. I will show up to the bar with the Juju jersey. If we win, I will give it to you, and you have to wear the Juju jersey on the show next Wednesday if the Steelers win.
But Shaq cannot take the jersey off at any point during the game.
That's fair.
fair enough.
On the whole game.
They bring 5. Smith goes sideline. It's caught by Lopez, who lost the football, and it's recovered by Swain. Inbounds with the clock running and no timeouts. And they scramble to kill it. and 2. They line up with 1.
Yeah, pretty freaking plain.
I'm chucking this shit. It's Del Mabry. By the way,
How can you not see that there is 1 second on the clock? This is emotional. Boy, you better spike the shit out of this, Gino. Oh, what do you mean, wide left? There was. No, he thought we were friends. Yeah, you better fold that shit up. We ain't done yet. Come on. Let's get off the bar.
I respect your attitude here.
We'll be quiet.
No, it's great. You're laughing and having a good time.
He's the one drinking beer. I'm drinking water.
Yeah. My English teacher is the reason I put pressure on your neck. Black intelligence is just as dangerous as a tech. Bet. Don't let me get the buck and have the whole crowd ducking. I ain't even done yet. I just started, I ain't even having fun yet. Still learning, I ain't started going dumb yet. Bum as I succumb to the drum set. Hold your applause, y'all, I wasn't done yet. As I y'all think it's a game, that's just feeding the flame that took a seat in my brain. It isn't keeping me sane, cause don't nobody wanna dance slow in the rain. But we can take it to the dance floor to ease the pain. We can pop, lock, and drop it cause we tired of the topic. Take a trip to the tropics on the beach getting sloppy. Whoa, Kimosabe, big ballin' is my hobby, but ain't nothing gon' stop it till we seize the reins. Seize it, man, put it in a headlock, squeeze it, man. Carpe diem, my heart stay beating, is what y'all needed, believe it, man. I had to seize it, man. Put it in a headlock, squeeze it, man. Carpe diem, my heart stay beating, is what y'all needed, believe it, man. I just had a breakthrough. There ain't nothing y'all can do with me. I just.
Where's the phone? Where's the phone? Sergeant John, get the fuck out of here!
Tell them to fall back. Tell them to fall back.
You're cut off! Do something!
First question. Who is currently leading the NFL in reception yards?
I'm going with Arizona.
I'm a player. Sorry, player.
Larry. I'm going with Larry.
Larry who?
Fitzgerald.
Oh my God. No.
Currently.
He's not still in the Arizona Cardinals? Where's he at?
Cooper.
Just
drink.
Oh, which current quarterback that is actively playing has thrown the most interceptions so far this season?
Heineke.
No. Okay, no. It's Mahomes and Zach Wilson. Dang it.
Really?
Yes.
Drink. You deserve that L. Do it.
Your head coach, Ron Rivera, he won a Super Bowl in the 80s as a part of what team?
Fuck it, Michigan.
No.
Wait.
NFL.
The
NFL.
Oh. Oakland Raiders.
That's a good guess.
That's good. It was Washington, wasn't it?
It was the Bears, actually.
Oh, the Bears, okay.
Which current running back, has the most yards at the first initial contact?
Jesus.
45 seconds. What was your answer?
You were wiping your forehead. Don't worry about it.
What they got to do with me?
Henry.
Does me wiping my forehead change time?
It does, because that's like a time zone.
Who was our quarterback at Washington or Redskins? He was the first black quarterback on the Washington football team.
Why are you asking me this? Oh my God. Jason Campbell.
No,
hell no. I was the first black
Get out
quarterback.
of here.
Nigga, he's black, isn't he?
He was the first black quarterback on the Washington football team. Or
Doug
Redskins.
Williams is just as black. Ryan knows he needs some water.
If Ryan makes you do the entirety of this show, give him a medal honor for it.
I mean, listen, hey, he thought that Fitzgerald was still playing, so he's playing with that.
And not just still playing, but had no.
At an all-pro level.
Remember to follow the show on Instagram and TikTok at AFR Sports. That's at AFR Sports. Now back to the show featuring your hosts Jalen and Shaquille.
What's going on, folks? Welcome back after the break. Hope you all enjoyed your piss break, your refill break, your snack fill up, whatever you may have been doing in that break there. Evan is still grabbing all of those things.
You hear that, Ryan? People actually eat during the break, not during the show.
Yep. Sounds like Evan is back. Anyway, there he is.
There he is.
He was grabbing his second half shot that we were all about to take.
Man, Evan missed my Morgan impersonation,
which is spot on.
Oh yeah,
you'll have to give it after the shot. Cheers, gents.
He left again. There he is.
I was gonna go get another candle, but
candle. What?
You know the bitches love candles.
I was about to say, Evan treating this show like he got trying to pick bitches up off the show. You got lighting, you got candles. I see you got that weekend poster in the back.
Evan's good, man. He's got the magenta going on.
He's like, every opportunity is an opportunity to get some ass. So I'm gonna go ahead and
free publicity.
I learned from the best.
He's just ready for it. Nothing says I'm ready for poon than mood lights and the plain white teeth let you know, girl, I'm chilling.
Plain white teeth.
How clean this shirt is, I do laundry.
Some of us be trying to play Mr. Never mind.
Jack, you were my teacher. You taught me after all these years.
I don't know what lesson you got from having one girl driving to another appointment, but that's
evolved.
I would say that's some next level shit right there. A little embassy, yeah. I'm trying to learn that type of shit. Took whatever lessons I gave you and evolved
it. Yes, folks, if you're not aware, there is from time to time a fifth member on this show. His name is Morgan. We've been missing him for several weeks now, and this is just my formal invitation to him for him to come back on to this godforsaken show and grace us with his presence. Because, I mean, if you beat Tampa, I don't know what other incentive you would need to come on to this damn show and talk your noise, but
and to encourage you, you want to do your impersonation of Morgan there, Melanie, real quick? Or
since we're with that
go ahead and ask me a question, Shaq.
What are your predictions of Washington football team next weekend?
Okay. I think. I think they win by 14. That's my Morgan impersonation. That man rubs his head like it's a genie lamp and says everybody wins by 14.
This man rubs his head like his hair is blocking his thought process. Get the shit off my
He's rubbing his hairline back further than mine is. I don't understand. But it's the funniest thing, man. Every time you ask him a question, he puts his head down. And then he comes in like this. Ready?
You know who the most entertaining person to sit next to during the SATs were? Probably Morgan. Doing the most for every question.
And when he answers the question, he sounds like somebody sitting on the toilet paper that needs to be grabbing, or sitting on the toilet, acting like he needs to be grabbing some toilet paper instead of his head. Like, it's always like a sounding of constipation when he says it. They win by 14.
He's gonna be so subconscious next time he comes on his show, by the way.
So he needs to come on the show to defend himself, but you know what he's going to do when he comes on the show? He's going to be like, that's not even true. Guys, say that about me. It's not going to happen. That's real life.
God loves it.
I love it. I love Morgan. He's great.
He's a goat in his
Just
own
don't
right.
what he says.
No, not at all. Getting into the news for the week. We're about to hop right on into the news. You guys are about to get a little.
Today's top
For
stories
the
and breaking
news
news.
this week, we're gonna keep it right with Washington. They are without Chase Young for the rest of the season. We mentioned this briefly earlier, but yeah, he tore his ACL, and that is that. Didn't look like their season had very high hopes in the current state they were in anyway, but any thoughts on Chase Young being gone for the rest of the year?
They're going to go from trash to hot trash here in a second without Chase Young. God bless their heart.
Oh, what I will say is that do I think that the Washington football team with no name, which they might come out with the name Hot Trash at the end of this year, like when Daniel Snyder running the organization, be like, you know what? I was watching after further review, and Shaq
Shaq had a nice ring to his name.
So Shaq, you might have just named the team for him.
Perfect name. I can envision a logo and a mascot and everything for them. Don't you play with me?
Oh, yeah, just a big ass trash can.
It'd be a Flaming Jets logo.
Beyond the Washington football team, right? I just feel bad for Chase Young because if someone is gifted and talented as he is, to have an ACL tear that it didn't even look like he tore his ACL on that play. Like I said it earlier, like it looked like a normal play to him. He was doing his patented swim move, and even the offensive lineman kind of like backed up because I think he heard Chase Young kind of like come out with some kind of noise like, oh shit, something. I don't know. I don't want to say like he screamed because that's like a bitch move. But the way that he was like writhing in pain, you got to think like, I don't know, like if someone as explosive as him, you need your knees. You need that explosiveness off the line. And I hate for someone like Chase Young to lose a year and hopefully he comes back better than ever. I know that when you say you tear an ACL now in the NFL, like, goddamn, like science is so much different than what it was in the mid-90s or early 2000s, whatever. Mm-hmm. You could tear an ACL. They just put some sort of bionic shit in your knee and you're better than ever. But I just hate for him to lose any time because I do think he's one of those generational talents. I just hate that he's on the Washington football team because they suck and they're misutilizing him and he's not having as good of a year as he could have been. But I just hate for someone that good that could be a poster child for the NFL getting hurt.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. Any more thoughts on Chase Young?
No.
Moving on into another ACL injury. This one not as serious. Aaron Jones is going to miss a couple weeks with a ACL sprain. Do you guys think that the Packers are going to miss? I guess it's more so. It's how much do you think the Packers will miss Aaron Jones over these next couple weeks?
Well, that depends. Do they get a run against my Seahawks defensive line? Because Dylan did just fine without Aaron Jones. No, I'm just playing. I do think that it is an MCL sprain, not an ACL sprain, right? I thought it was an MCL sprain.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
It's MCL.
Okay. I don't think he could miss 1 to 2 weeks, but I do think the Packers will probably hold him out a little bit longer as long as they win the next 2 weeks. Like if they win the next 2 weeks, I could see them kind of holding him out a couple more weeks if Dylan is serviceable because you really want a healthy Aaron Jones going into the playoffs. So if you're a fantasy person and you got Aaron Jones, sorry about your luck, but Dylan seems to be serviceable, and I do expect the Packers to start kind of getting back on track a little bit. And if they start winning and Dylan is serviceable, you might not see Aaron Jones for maybe more than 1 to 2 weeks. It might be more like 4 to 5 weeks because they're going to want a healthy Jones going into the playoffs. They're not going to want to rush him back too soon.
True.
I mean, like I said, I agree with that. They'll be fine. They will make it work without him. So
yeah,
it's Green Bay.
Dylan was just fine.
Yeah. John Gruden is suing the NFL for forcing him out of the league by, quote, selectively leaking Gruden's private correspondence. The lawsuit says the NFL pressured the Raiders to terminate Gruden and intimidated that further documents would become public if Gruden was not fired. Any thoughts on John Gruden trying to get back at his old employer?
We are very sorry that you do not like the black and brown community, and sorry for judging you for that. So we will. I don't know what to tell you, man. Shame on the NFL if they somehow give you your job back and figure that out. So.
I mean, he's definitely not getting his job back, but I will say good luck. But at the same time, there is some kind of truth, I feel like, to what he's saying. Like, it's so strange that an investigation on Washington resulted in him getting fired, and so far only him. It's like, where is everybody else that probably should be caught up in this? So it kind of seems like he's just trying to take down some more people with him, maybe, or obviously get paid in the process. But there should be definitely some more names involved in getting their names drafted and mugged. It's just,
I agree that there should be more people brought down to the situation, but I definitely should not think he should be compensated of any sort.
Well, okay. So here's what I'm gonna say. First of all, did John Gruden say some disgusting things in emails? Yes, 100%. Does he have a case against the NFL? Absolutely, 100%. Because they literally did. That's the reason why Davis went to the Raiders headquarters to talk to Gruden during that Monday Night Football game. Was because the NFL literally did say more stuff is going to come out. And when you're talking about over almost 700,000 emails, right? How is it that only John Gruden's came out?
Right.
It has nothing to do. No, it has nothing to do about race. The NFL doesn't give a damn about what he said about DeMar Smith. They really don't. What they care about is what he said in emails against Roger Goodell. And Roger Goodell got his feelings hurt because he was calling him a punk-ass bitch for less, whatever. And so they were like, no, he doesn't need to be in the NFL anymore. So they leaked some emails. They gave it a weekend, still didn't fire him. And they're like, listen, man, we're going to drop some more stuff. And what did they do? They dropped more emails before he even resigned. And so I do think that John Gruden has a case against the NFL. Do I think that what he said was right in those emails? Absolutely not. I don't think that this is about John Gruden saying that he was wrongfully portrayed in the emails. I think what he's getting after and what he has a case on is that you're singling me out. You're making me a scapegoat to hide what owners and other people are saying.
Right.
And what I really hope that happens is that this lawsuit forces, this is what I really want to happen. I want this lawsuit to force the NFL to release all of the other 678,000 emails. I want to know what the owner said. I want to know what other GM said. I want to know what else is out there. And if this lawsuit can force that to come out, yes. Does John Gruden need to be a coach right now in the NFL? Absolutely not, based on what he said. about the gay community, about blacks. Like, yes, racist comments, yes, homophobic comments, absolutely. Does he need to be a coach in the NFL? Absolutely not. But I hope that what he is doing right now in this lawsuit forces the NFL's hand under the court of law to release all of these other emails so that we get to see how many other racists and homophobic people are in powerful, influential positions in the NFL that the NFL is trying to protect right now, because that's what the real story is. It's not what John Gruden thought about people. It's what owners thought about blacks and gays. That's what the real story is going to be. What GMs thought about blacks and gays. That's what the real story is. And I really hope that because of this lawsuit, that gets to come to light, because right now the NFL is saying they're not going to release those emails. But if they're subpoenaed under the court of law, they're going to have to release them, and we're going to get to be able to see the full scope of whatever they're trying to hide. And I hope some piece of shit, John Snyder and a couple other people, have to sell a team, and a couple GMs have to leave, because there's no room for racist and homophobic people in the NFL to be able to hide under the cover of the NFL not wanting to release this crap.
Unfortunately, I feel like the reason they're fighting it so hard is that there's a lot of people in the NFL that they don't want to release that do not like the black and gay community. Unfortunately, that's a big portion of probably owners, coaches, and a lot of head office people that they're gonna have to put underneath the microscope. And with NFL being like, it's bad enough even if it wasn't, but with the NFL being predominantly, there's a lot of black players now. Black coaches are being very heavily like. And there are a lot of gay players coming out and everything. It's just, it's a new generation, new era, 2021. You can't be out here just like.
But they're not going to be able to hide anymore. Like, if this lawsuit does what I think that John Gruden is wanting it to do, which is not to say, oh, I've been wronged, like they're misportraying me. No, there's a lot of other people that he wants to now take down with him.
Yeah.
And I think that John Gruden knows exactly who these people are. He was in the NFL for a long time. And there's no way that someone like John Gruden has been in the NFL for 50 years and he doesn't know who these people are. And this is forcing the NFL's hand. And they should be in the league.
My only problem with this is that I feel like he's doing it now for all the wrong reasons. I feel like he's only doing this now because now that his business and stuff has been put on blast, let me go ahead and put everybody else on blast, because would he have done this without him losing his job and without all
of course he was not going to out people if
because he did not care, because he was all about it. But like, now that he has lost his source of income, now he's like, all right, fuck all y'all, because
well, you are right about that, Shaq, but I do agree with John Gruden in this sense, is that he knows the NFL, right? And he's like, y'all gonna make me a pariah when I know hundreds of other people in the NFL that have sent emails, text messages, stuff like that. He's like, go ahead and make me a pariah. That's fine. Like, you go ahead, you outed me because you didn't want me in the NFL, but I'm not just going to go quietly into the night. I'm going to make some sort of legal action that's going to expose everybody else. So even though he might not be doing it in the right reason, I do think that it needs to happen, because there are owners in the NFL, there's GMs, there's people in front offices, there's coaches in the NFL that they need to be exposed just like he was. And they don't need to have a job making millions of dollars, owning $1 billion business, when they think and feel and are writing things the same way that John Gruden was, yet all of a sudden he doesn't have a job. Like, in my opinion, like, fair is fair. Like, if you're going to go ahead and ostracize John Gruden, don't act like there's not a lot of other people in the 678,000 emails that aren't thinking the same way. It's like, some people need to lose a team. Some GMs need to lose their jobs. Like, there's a lot more. Like, John Gruden is the tip of the iceberg, and the NFL is fucking stupid for thinking that they could just go ahead and throw the bone of John Gruden out there and everyone's going to be satisfied and thinking they can go ahead and throw him out there and him not be thinking to himself like, I've been at these meetings. I've been at the table with these GMs. I know what you people think and say. Like, how are you just going to go ahead and ostracize me? And the only reason why the NFL did it, it wasn't because of what he said about the gay community and about the black community. It's because of what he said about Roger Goodell. Right. He literally put out there that he thought Roger Goodell was a punch-ass bitch. And Roger Goodell saw that and he's like, we need to get him out of the NFL. Like, he's not out of a job because of the emails he sent about the black community and the gay community. It's about what he said about Roger Goodell. Yeah. And that's bullshit. And I hope that he gets every email subpoenaed in this lawsuit and they all get taken to task.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to go off the Roger Goodell point. I think that, looking at it and looking at Roger Goodell's abuse of power, I mean, you can kind of see it in the most recent thing with the whole Packers, with the Packers shareholding thing becoming available, and people allowing them or being allowed to buy a share of the Packers for $300, but you get fined $500,000 if you say anything bad about any of the NFL's teams, or if you say anything bad about Roger Goodell. So it's just like, he does not want anything to come out, anything or anyone to come and say anything bad about him. It's all about keeping face, and it's egotistical in a sense.
And at the end of the day, Roger Goodell gets paid $40 million a year to protect the interest of the owners. Yep. Right? How many owners do you think are in the NFL right now that agree with the statements that John Gruden made?
A good portion of them, unfortunately.
Yeah, like you could have Donald Sterling 2.0, except is going on with like half the league. At the end of the day, would Roger Goodell fall on the sword and end up not being the commissioner? Yeah, because the NFL owners are paying him $40 million a year to be the bad guy, like Evan was saying. But he does have an ego, because when you get paid $40 million a year, when you're running a $9.8 billion organization like the NFL, you're going to have an ego, and you're not going to like the fact that you've uncovered a head coach in the NFL that's wildly liked and accepted, someone like John Gruden, all of a sudden making comments about you. You don't want him leaving the Raiders after so many years and becoming the face of Monday Night Football again. You're going to do whatever you have to do to get him out of football for the rest of his life. But Gruden's job is to protect the owners, and that's what the NFL is trying to do right now. They're trying to protect owners. They're trying to protect GMs, and I hope that not only this 678,000 emails get subpoenaed, but I hope this lawsuit goes up against the NFL to where all emails across the NFL get subpoenaed and they got to answer to some crap. Because there's a lot of rich old white guys right now that are just sweating in their asshole based on this lawsuit, because it does have some merit to it. And they deserve to be sweating right now. They don't deserve to be comfortable making the billions of dollars they're making right now. They deserve to be sweating a little bit right now.
Yeah, this one is a topic that could probably be its entire own episode, but we are going to move on from the John Gruden tales here right into the Ravens. They cut Le'Veon Bell after having him for just 5 games. This was not a surprise to me at all. I'll just leave it at that. What you guys think about the Ravens parting ways with Bell?
I'm all about,
not surprising.
Not at all. Especially since Bell left us. It's kind of like, you go ahead and keep trying to find your way. I don't feel bad to a degree.
Yeah.
It's called pettiness, y'all. I'm sorry.
What about you, Evan?
I don't know. I mean, they evidently didn't need him. I mean, you have Devontae, you have Tyson Williams, Latavius, on some downs. They didn't need him. So I mean, it's a no brainer from, I guess, a salary cap standpoint. And yeah, I mean, it's not like he played a major role in the Ravens offense.
All right, but before I get my take, I want to know what Shaq and Jalen just watched on the TV right now. Like, what did you guys look at?
We're watching Phoenix and Dallas play each other, and Phoenix just botched a fast break. Strange.
Yeah, that sounds like Phoenix. Chris Paul's old. All right, listen. I want the Seahawks to sign Le'Veon Bell.
Why?
9-8, baby.
Why?
9-8.
Listen, I'll tell you why. Because Chris Carson has a neck injury. He's never probably going to play again. And I don't think that my Seahawks are going to go 9-8 with Alex Collins. So I want Le'Veon Bell. I don't know. Shoot him up. Give him some drugs. I don't give a shit.
So you could trade somebody with a neck injury for somebody who clearly has some sort of brain injury.
Take somebody with a brain injury. I don't give a fuck. Like, shoot him up with some drugs. Give me 6 games before he gets suspended. Like, I don't give a
some Captain America shit and send him out there.
Help me get to 9-8. I don't give a shit what you do with the man. Get him on the team. Help him run the football. Let him get suspended. But I want a winning record. God damn it. That's my take. The Ravens, they're weird. They're an anomaly. They win great one week and they lose great another week. So then cutting ties with Le'Veon Bell, he's not the reason why they're winning or losing, but he could be the reason why the Seahawks win a few games if the Seahawks can shoot him up with something, give him a little bit of fountain of youth, and then let him get suspended for something later on. I don't give a damn. 9-8, baby. That's what we're doing.
And the last bit of news, this one's a weird one. Mike McCarthy says part of the reason the Cowboys won this past weekend was because he showed a photo of the anti-chafing monkey butt powder to his team last week. I guess last week for the Cowboys was red ass week after they lost to the Broncos. So it was everybody had a red ass, and Mike McCarthy took it upon himself to find the solution to the red ass, which was anti-chafing powder, and he found it. Google imaged monkey butt powder to show to his team, and that's what he's crediting to the success against the Falcons win.
Is there nobody out there filtering these people before they say stuff, post stuff, dude? Just out there just letting people just do whatever they want.
I'm just going to say that this is Exhibit 1A, why emails need to be released in the NFL. If this is what Mike McCarthy is doing. Well, first of all, Mike McCarthy has not been relevant since 2010 when Aaron Rodgers took a wild card team and won the Super Bowl. Okay? That's all I'm saying. What are you looking at now, Shaq? We're in the middle.
I'm just looking at Luka Doncic's 5-year, $200-something million contract this man is getting right now to play ball.
Okay. Listen, back to McCarthy. Listen, everyone can probably agree over the last decade that Aaron Rodgers is the most talented quarterback to play in the NFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most talented. He's most talented, right?
I agree.
Not the most winning, like they haven't won the most. Okay, most talented. There's an argument to be made that Mike McCarthy held the Packers back with his archaic style of football. Okay, his archaic style of football is apparently monkey butt powder, and rah-rah speeches, and like no, like this is just fucking stupid. he does not deserve to be the coach of as talented a team as the Dallas Cowboys. And if I was a player for the Dallas Cowboys and my head coach went out there and said, even gave 5% of the reason why we won is because you showed something about some monkey butt powder, I'd whoop your ass. Like, we get on, I hit you with a helmet. Like, that's just fucking stupid. Like, he does not need to be a coach in the NFL. He's way past his prime. Aaron Rodgers would probably have more Super Bowls if it wasn't for his dumb ass. And, you know, he probably made Dak Prescott go buy 24 donuts from Krispy Kreme and eat them all because he made him depressed by talking about monkey powder.
I have this mental image of him like the night before their team meeting that's coming up, and he's like, man, it's red ass week. What can I come up with? You know what? Let me go on Google here. Images. Anti-chafing powder. Yeah, that would get him.
If
no, it's monkey butt.
I
that's it. There it is.
God, if he gave that monkey powder to everybody, was like, listen, man, just rub that on your balls and your ass cheeks, and you guys are gonna play lights out in this week. And he somehow attributed that to them winning against Atlanta. It had nothing to do with Matt Ryan only getting points fantasy. It had all to do with the monkey powder. Like, I mean, come on, man. Like, how? Jesus Lord, like, go eat a taco. Jesus Christ. I don't know. That's just ridiculous.
By the way, now if you go to Google and you put in monkey butt, it autofills powder after that just to. I hope he's getting paid by whoever makes this damn powder.
They're making a hell of profit off of that now.
That's going to be part of John Gruden's lawsuit. He's like, monkey powder?
Do I need any more evidence?
It's called monkey powder?
Gave monkey powder to a black man on a football team.
Need I say more?
90% of your team is black, and you're going to start talking about monkey powder.
He coaches a team full of black people in Texas. Just mind you that.
How the fuck does he have a job right now? Good God. Like, what blackmail does he have on Jerry Jones to become head coach?
Who knows?
What the hell does Jerry Jones do?
All right, getting into the ride or die. Stupid anti-monkey butt.
Look at that picture.
I can see him dragging it and dropping it into PowerPoint right
Look,
now.
If you ever become professional gamers, that's the first one I want to sponsor us.
He's the only coach in the NFL talking about monkey butt powder. Let's let that be known right now. He's the only one not reading the room. He's the only one not reading the room in the NFL for monkey butt powder. Jesus Christ. Okay, ride or die in 5. Let's go. That wasn't even in my notes, Jalen. You just sprung that on me last minute.
I don't understand. Why can't he pawn off this kind of stuff to like an assistant to handle? Like, you know what? You take care of this. I don't know anything about anything, so why don't you just do this?
Well, why can't he attribute the fact that they won because of good coaching?
Or that, right.
Like, listen, man, we didn't win because we had a good game plan and we have great coaching and Kellen Moore's a great offensive coordinator. Nah, we put some monkey butt powder on our assholes and we went out there and won a rough shot over Atlanta.
I'm gonna go ahead and take your job from you. Thank you. If you are fired for less, I'm gonna go ahead and have you pack your stuff and go.
Just getting angry about monkey butt. Come on.
I refuse to have you give our players anything that's monkey in the title, and then take glory for that.
Zeke's out there like, listen, man, I could eat anything I want and get chubby as shit because McCarthy's just gonna attribute it.
I wouldn't say that. We did have Eddie Fatty Lacy out here lose his job because of
All right, we need to move on from this subject. Moving
You
into
brought
the,
it up.
I did bring it up, and now I'm gonna get it right up out of here. Moving into the ride or die in 5, we're gonna start this off with the fact that I'm 16-20, and Shaq is only one game behind me at 15-21. I had a bad week last week. We are going to start off with the Washington football team at the Red Hot as in winning one game. Carolina Panthers, they are 3.5-point favorites at home. Our Melheim's Media fellow family member Nori will be at this game. He's watching his Panthers. Welcome back, Cam. Of course, he had to be at this game. The money line is minus 180 for the Panthers, plus 160 for Washington. Over unders 43.5. Shaq, what do you like in this game?
I like Carolina to win this game. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and vote for them to.
Man, you said they were only going to win 3.
I'm sorry. There's a lot of things that have changed with this team since
nuance.
Yeah.
One thing has changed.
Yes, that changes a lot. That changes a whole lot for this team. I'm sorry. Things have changed. I say Carolina goes in this game and they.
Okay, what are you showing? What is that?
Oh yeah. All right.
What is happening?
I just made the monkey butt my wallpaper.
So yeah. I vote for Carolina to win this by 3.
But
Wait,
so they won't.
so
They will not cover. It'll be a field goal.
Yes.
All right.
So you're not taking the Panthers, is what you're saying.
You say you take the points for Washington to come.
Yes.
Washington in the point.
Yes.
Okay. It's fair, Evan.
Same with Shaq. I have the Panthers, but I do have Washington covering. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Game doesn't really interest me, to be honest.
Yeah, it shouldn't, but
It probably should. Malin.
Okay, first of all, Newton has to play more than 4 snaps this week. Okay, it's going to take a lot more than him saying he's back 15 times and drawing a 15-yard penalty for me to really think that he's actually back. Because it's one thing to run 4 plays inside the 5. Shaq, what are you doing with your phone? We're running a goddamn. And you're playing.
Shaq's on the monkey butt train too.
I don't know.
No,
For those
I
of you
just
see it on the show. It's a monkey. I said the monkey butt as my screensaver. As my long screen.
You put it away from the camera, Shaq.
He put it on the stream camera.
Yes.
Yeah, the stream camera is right here. Right here.
All right. Like I said, monkey butt is now mine. I'm gonna say that now tomorrow at work when somebody brings up my phone. I'm gonna be like, you know what? There's a long story behind that.
That's motivating me to be a better person.
Exactly. It's a success story for the Cowboys, so it's good enough for me. So here we go.
Hey guys, right now, I will not be jumping on the monkey butt thing as eagerly as Shaq and Jalen is. I don't know why.
Evan, you're our last hope.
I don't. Let's see.
But,
Yeah,
shit! Even Evan's gonna jump.
Yeah,
on
no, I'm good. I'm good.
Did you look up the monkey butt picture?
Yeah.
Did you at least look at it? It's a great photo.
It's good. This is where the show goes off the rails.
Hey, I'll take monkey butt over Dwight Howard any day of the week.
The fact that you even mentioned it, the fact that you even mentioned his name is a big risk in and of itself. Because
Evan is crying. Evan really had.
I hear Dwight Howard's name, it upsets me, so I'm gonna go ahead and transition on to what we were talking about.
Anyway, Malin,
First of all,
what do you like in this game?
About Carolina and Washington, we're even talking about Dwight Howard.
Continue.
Jalen just tried to make you mad, and
he brought up Dwight Howard. Yes, he is trying to make you mad. Because to me, monkey butt and Dwight Howard is like a lateral move of conversation. So we're gonna go ahead and go back
to relevant sports and get off the monkey ass. So, no, I do not think that 1 week of Cam Newton running the number 1 offense is going to fix their woes. And the Washington football team just beat the Bucks. So I'm going to take the under on the points, first of all, because they're not scoring 46 points. It's 46 and a half, right? 46 and a half, Jalen?
40. It might be 46 now. It was 43 and a half.
Okay. Well, I'm still taking the under on the 43. But I will take the Washington football team to cover. I'm not saying they're going to win, but they're going to cover, even though Shaq and Evan both picked Washington to win, but Carolina. I
picked Carolina to win.
Oh, you picked Carolina to win, but 3 points. So you really wanted Washington. This is why people don't on the things it would say, because you're not following the money line. I'm taking Washington in the 3.5 and the under on the points. Evan is about to commit some arson. That makes me nervous with that monkey butt powder. Jalen, go to the next game because we're going off the rails. This is crazy. Y'all are, what the fuck is happening over there, Evan?
Before we move, but I just want to throw out my pick. I'm saying take Carolina to cover 3.5 points. I said they keep riding this wave and they win just by probably about a touchdown. So yeah.
Oh, can I just ask one thing, Jim?
Yeah.
What did Cam Newton prove in 4 plays?
I'm not saying
no.
It has nothing to do with the 4 plays that he did in this past game. It has everything to do with I got faith in this team being comfortable. Cam is still a decent player, in my opinion. It has nothing to do with his 4 plays that he ran.
No, that's bullshit. Shaq's just mad that that's Morgan's team. That's why he's saying what he's saying. They didn't do anything to prove that they could all of a sudden start running off this winning streak.
The fact that you have more faith in Washington football team is the issue.
I'm saying that they have because McCaffrey's back and he's getting back in some of the things, and I think he's going to run rampant over Washington football team.
What did McCaffrey do last week?
I mean, they won. They beat them handily.
What can McCaffrey do that Leonard Fournette couldn't do?
A hell of a lot.
Yeah. Yes. I'm just saying. Last week, you had Tom Brady at quarterback, right?
Right.
You had Mike Evans. You had Goodwin. You had Leonard Fournette at running back. What did that offense do? They lost.
Yeah, they had a bad game.
Now you think that Carolina with Newton, Moore, and McCaffrey are going to do better than what the Bucs could do?
Have we seen the Washington football team string together 2 great games in a row?
No, not at all. We haven't done that.
That's all it is.
Brady threw one bad pass and a receiver muffed the catch. That's why they won this game.
Brady threw a lot of bad passes. Now, first of all, this is why Jalen is the main host of this show, because he could throw a question out there that makes me sound dumb as shit. I want to appreciate that, Jalen. You didn't have to do that.
I am here for entertainment value more than anything else. But
Jalen had to drop that one question that I didn't have an answer for. I have an answer for everything. I didn't have an answer today.
You had an answer. It was no.
Moving on. We're done with this game.
We are done with this game.
Evan is texting one of 8 girlfriends right now. I can see it.
I told you. And that one girlfriend, he's texting her to ask her to drive her to another girl's place.
He's letting them know, hey, I'm changing your background photos now. It's monkey butt now, so I'm sorry, but
I'm sorry.
His girlfriends right now are like, hey, you see forehead with that 2015 shirt? That's what it's Go ahead.
New Orleans edge the Eagles. Eagles are 1-point favorites at home. They are minus 121 money line. New Orleans is plus 101 money line. Over under is 43.5. This is at 1:00 this Sunday. Evan, which one of your girls thinks that the Eagles are going to cover the spread?
Well, this just in from her. She says, pick the Saints straight.
Okay.
Wait, was that a girl or was that Morgan? Wait, it wasn't Morgan. It didn't say they'd win by 14. I apologize.
Yeah, we have concluded that we're doing Saints straight.
Okay, I'm not mad at that at all, Shaq.
I'm also gonna pick the Saints to win this. What was the money line?
The money line's plus 101 for the Saints.
Yeah, I'm wrong with that. Saints to win this game. I still have faith in the Saints to do something for the rest of the season, so I'll go with that.
Malin?
When you're talking money line, any time that the home team is down on points, that's a good bet to go on the away team. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Saints. I do think that Taysom Hill is going to be more involved in the offense. They have to find a way to get Kamara more involved. I'm just not. I know that Philadelphia has run for like almost 700 yards in the last 3 games, but they're coming up against one of the league's best defenses in the Saints. They shut down the run game. So if you're giving me a point on Philly, I'm going to go ahead and take New Orleans with the points, and I'm going to say that they're going to win outright because I'm not a believer in Hurts. I'm not doing it. Jalen's laughing though, so he don't agree with me.
I'm gonna go the opposite of all of you guys once again. I'm taking the Eagles to win this one. I mean, it's 1 point, so I guess whatever. But yeah, I think the Eagles will win this one at home. Philly fans are out of their goddamn minds. I think this will be a wild game. They'll be shouting about nothing and create a lot of noise for Trevor Siemian to try and operate in, or Taysom Hill, whoever's back there trying to throw the ball around. But yeah, I think the Eagles win this one way or another.
Let me ask you this, Jalen. They're literally only giving Philly 1 point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So 3 points always goes to the home team. So if you take away any points other than 3, you're saying that the advantage goes to the away team. Okay?
Right.
Vegas makes a lot of money for a reason.
Right.
So what is it about Philadelphia that's making you think that they're going to win this game against New Orleans? That's my only thing. Like, whenever I'm looking at it, if I'm ever looking at a game that's giving the home team less than 3 points, I have to think that Vegas has some sort of inside information. They're wrong more times than not.
There's no reason here. This is just me picking the Eagles, just to pick the Eagles, because all of you guys picked the Saints. If Shaq picked the Saints, I'm damn sure picking the Eagles in this game.
For the sake of our betting on a record, I gotta make sure that we pick opposite first. Because if you pick even, how exciting does that make it?
That is the answer I was looking for. Because first of all, if anybody listening to this podcast is betting money based upon what we think, you've already seen us take.
You already lost once.
And we are emotional, and Shaq is wrong more than he's right. So
because I vote out of pettiness and anything else.
Yeah, like Shaq, he bets like a scorned lover, like more often than not. So I definitely, now that you say that, Jalen, you almost make me want to change my bet, but I'm still going to defense.
And the fact that I hate the Eagles, I will vote against the Eagles more times than not.
Next one on the list. All right, now we've got a bit more interesting games here. So Cincinnati at Las Vegas. As of yesterday, this was a pick'em game. I don't know where this stands as of right now. The over/under's 49.5. This is the 4:00 game this Sunday. To go straight up on this one, I am just gonna take the Raiders, simply because I took them in the off season to win this game. I'm going to stick with my offseason prediction on this one. This was a very tough one. I think this will be close without a doubt. But I think the Raiders will end up pulling this out at home. Malin.
I think that the shellacking that the Raiders took against the Chiefs took a little bit of that confidence and bravado out of them, which they were believing that they were better than what they really were. And Cincinnati's going to have Mixon back. And so if you're giving me a picking game, I'm going to take Cincinnati on this one.
Kevin?
Yeah, I'm taking Cincinnati here. I do think that it'll be a relatively high-scoring game. I just think that the Bengals have just a better team than the Raiders. So I have the Bengals.
As much as I want to vote against the Bengals because they're in a division, and I would really love them to lose for the sake of entertainment value, and then Jalen's already picked the Raiders, I'm gonna go ahead and again pick Cincinnati to win this game to make shit all that much more entertaining. So sorry to Evan and Malin who already picked Cincinnati too.
I'm gonna go ahead and amend my bet. I think that the Las Vegas Raiders are angry now that they lost to the Chiefs, and they're going to want to avenge that loss. And I think Derek Carr is going to throw 2 touchdown passes to their tight end, Waller. And I think the Raiders are going to win. Thank you, Shaq. I had that trump card in my pocket, just depending on what you said. God damn it.
There you go. G-Money says that Vegas has the Raiders +1, but they are also Vegas in Vegas. So,
listen,
conflict of interest? I say so.
I'm just saying, G fucking money. That man wins in Vegas. So if he says something, you better listen if you're betting, people. Don't listen to Shaq or anybody else. Listen to G Money.
That is true.
That man's smart.
Look, if you're listening to me, I'm betting wise. You're already in the dark place in your life, so you need to go ahead and just continue.
Not as dark of a place as you would be listening to Morgan on betting advice.
True.
But
yeah.
We're going to move along to the second to last game here. Dallas. This is the biggest game of the week. Dallas at Kansas City. Kansas City, 2.5 point favorites at home. They are -140 money line. Dallas is +120. Over under is 55.5. This is the Fox game of the week at 4:30. Malin, who do you like in this one?
As much as I said that Kansas City has righted the ship a little bit, I think Dallas righted it more. Even the monkey butt powder is all of you guys have put on your phones. It makes me a little bit uncomfortable that you all have done that. I don't think that Kansas City has righted their inconsistency. Their defense is still not good. And Dallas's defense is good. I think Diggs is probably going to come away with another interception. I think that Dak is going to get rolling. Hopefully, they don't give Zeke the ball too many times because he's pudgy. Hopefully, Tony Pollard gets most of the carries. But I would definitely take Dallas. If you're only giving KC 2.5 points at home, a field goal wins it. That's why I'm going to go ahead and take Dallas in the points.
Shaq?
I will almost agree with Malin and take Dallas in the points, but I hope that it gives Zeke the ball because I play Malin in fantasy this week, and I have Zeke, so they give Zeke the ball, and he's scoring like I'm about to look. If they win and I get you beat to this week, bet. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Dallas in the points.
Well, that means that Mahomes is going to throw for 4 touchdowns, and they're going to beat Dallas by 17 points. So go ahead, Evan.
Evan, yeah. What do you like in this one?
Following everybody else. I got the Cowboys here. I don't know. I'm not necessarily. I think that if the Chiefs win this game, they're back officially, and I don't think that there's anyone that can say or be, I guess, teetering on the fence on whether or not they're back. I think that if they win this game, then they're back, but I don't think they'll win this game.
I do agree. Before you go, Jalen, I will say this. I do agree with Evan that this is a statement game for either team that they'll be able to ride throughout the second half of the year. Either Kansas City is going to beat the brakes off of Dallas, which is probably going to happen now because Shaq basically just spoke it into existence. Or Dallas is going to beat Kansas City and ride the wave to possibly the number one seed in the NFC. But because Shaq said what he said, it's probably not going to happen. So you go ahead and tell us what you think because you seem to be the smartest person in the room.
Quick question, Shaq. You said that Dallas is going to cover the 2.5 points, or do you think they'll just win outright?
I say they cover the 2.5 points.
Okay. I am once again going opposite of everybody else. I think Kansas City is.
I already told you. I amended my bet.
Oh, that's right. On the last one, right? That's okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I see Kansas City covers the 2.5 points on this one, and they just barely win it by one possession. Only because I think that this is more of Kansas City is back, and it's not just them beating bad teams. I think they are on a bit of a hot streak here, and they're getting back in the groove of things. And I think a very good team coming into their hometown is good for them to show people like, hey, it's not just us beating up on a bunch of nobodies. Like, we actually are back in our groove, and this is a good example of that. And it won't be demoralizing to Dallas at all, just like the Tampa game to open up the season. It'll be a close game without a doubt. And I think it'll show Cowboys fans like, hey, we're right there. We're still right there. Nothing to panic about. Like, we came within a field goal of beating the Chiefs. That's good to know. But I think the Chiefs win this in the end. So I'm taking the Chiefs to cover the 2.5 points at home.
And for all the bettors out there, I just want to remind everybody that Shaq only took the Cowboys because he wants to beat me in fantasy because he has Zeke as his running back. So do with that what you will, America.
Moving on to the last game of the week. This is the Monday night game. This one, I believe, has moved to 5.5 as of today, but the Chargers are 5.5 point favorites at home against the Steelers on Monday Night Football. I don't know what the money line is at this point, but the over-under is 47 points. And again, this is on Monday night. I'll make this quick. Big Ben, still unclear whether or not he'll be playing. He's still on the fence with his COVID thing. Fitzpatrick is also on the COVID list. This is all just looking like take the Chargers to cover the 5.5 points. I think they'll win this by about a touchdown. I also, just throwing this out, I don't think Big Ben is going to play just because he's Big Ben, and I feel like he'll fail his COVID test on Friday or Saturday and will not be eligible to play, and it'll be Rudolph out there, and at that point you can forget about it. I think the Chargers will cover at home. Shaq, go right ahead.
Y'all gonna judge me for this, but I'm also gonna pick the Chargers to win this game.
Can I take the Steelers?
No, all votes are final. I pick the Chargers to win this game. Like you said, Rudolph is gonna be out there, and for some reason I feel like even if Big Ben was out there, the Chargers would still win this game one way or another. Unfortunately, they're still not a good team, and we struggle against beating teams that we should, and we like to make everything close, and the Chargers not a team that we need to make a game close like that towards the end. So I say the Chargers win this game like about touchdown or so. I just don't see, as much as I love my Steelers to death, they will not be winning this game. We cannot apparently win games that we should be winning against Detroit, so if you can't even beat them with our backup quarterback, what makes you think we're coming against the Chargers? And
But Shaq, don't you think after a week?
Stop it. Yeah. Stop it. This man's trying to argue me to change my voice. So
Damn it.
I want to say this. Like Shaq literally just said, "As much as I love my team, nobody talks more shit about their favorite team than Shaq does." Like the only thing.
I'm the first person to tell you full honesty. I will tell you I ain't shit, but still at the same time be like, I'm the shit at the same breath.
Yeah, exactly. This is what Shaq does. Like he talks so much shit about his own team. And then when they win, he's like, "Listen, we the Steelers, man. Look at us."
Yo, but in the same breath, I will tell you that we struggled to the last 30 seconds of the game to win.
Like, if you were a Cleveland Browns fan, I would understand the amount of shit you talk about your own squad. But you're a Steelers fan, yet
looking back at the past 2 seasons or so of us doing this show, 2 or 3 seasons. Don't blame me because y'all got some sort of weird 3 9-finger quarterback throwing the ball around, and you want to hate on me for it.
Can you even count? No. Shaq always does this. Woe is me, poor is me, Steelers fan. But he's gonna talk shit when they win. Like that's what Shaq does.
Because we don't decide we want to win until the last 5 seconds of the game. We're like, you know what? We remember how to play football, so we're gonna go ahead and win this game real quick. So.
It's kind of a toss-up between whether or not Mason Rudolph wants to like rape a little boy or win a game. Like that's the look we get.
A lot of rapists from the Steelers.
but no, like you cannot think that. Now, first of all, I like that Shaq tried to just bet. He tried to say that the Chargers would win by field goal. Like he tries not to play the money line with everything. He almost said a field goal, but it was like, a touchdown or so. Like, what does a touchdown or so even mean? When you say touchdown or so, like, how many points do you think that the Chargers are going to win by?
You could go with the Morgan Brown route, just blanket 14 points.
Stop it! I'm gonna go touchdown.
I think it'll be 14.
Look, unlike Morgan, my hairline can't afford for me rubbing it like that. So I'm going to go ahead and say
a touchdown is what you said. All right, fair enough. Evan, what do you like in this game?
I'll be brief. Sadly, I have to side with Shaq here. I'm going with Chargers. And they will cover the spread. Obviously if Mason Rudolph plays, it's going to be a a stoning on live TV.
I better get the monkey butt out there.
Malin, please have some sense and do not pick the Chargers in this game.
But Malin hates the Steelers, so the last things you do is pick the Steelers.
Okay, no. First of all, when it comes to betting money, I don't let personal feelings come into it.
He's gonna say that as he's about to pick the Chargers. So
well, okay, I am going to pick the Chargers, but
we're all screwed.
No, got his hand down. Because I actually have reasons why I bet the money I bet.
Doesn't change the fact that all 4 of us are still gonna pick the Chargers, and the Steelers are gonna somehow win a field goal off of this game and gonna be upset for some reason.
Yeah, because you're doing some sort of reverse fucking voodoo.
Voodoo is what I resorted to for my team to win.
The
so
normal foundation of the universe, Shaq. Like that's what you do. Like you channel something with that big ass forehead, and then all of a sudden shit gets fucked up in the atmosphere.
There's no way the guys don't see my forehead, too, so I gotta find a way to.
Listen. First of all, somebody in outer space right now sees your fucking forehead. Okay, so there's somebody out there. Now, the reason why I am picking the Chargers, did Jalen lose his head?
Joe's like losing his sanity in the corner.
I broke Jalen. Okay, so The reason why I will take the Chargers 4.5 at home is that I do think that Justin Herbert is right of the ship. I think he's come out of his sophomore slump. I do think that a Ben Roethlisberger thing to do is to fail a fucking COVID test and not play in the game. And then you got Mason Rudolph out there winking against defenders trying to get a date, and that's not going to work for him. Najee Harris doesn't even understand the rules of the NFL, so you can't count on him. So that's why I think that the Chargers would win by 4.5, and I'm not going to allow Shaq's reverse voodoo shit because I don't see a
I am
voodoo
sorry
doll.
that our team is unorganized. That they put the blackest teams in America in one division. I expect us to understand what's going on.
No. You don't say blackest teams in America and yet have Mason Rudolph as your quarterback.
Look,
looks like he's wearing a white sheet every goddamn day of his life.
We got Pittsburgh that
You
had
ain't gonna say
AB
that.
at one point of the team. We got Baltimore.
No,
We got
nuh-uh.
Cincinnati.
No,
Blackest teams in America.
No, because you got Big Ben raping girls in Colorado. You got Mason Rudolph wearing white sheets. That's what the Steelers are. Okay, I don't give a goddamn that Rooney's an ambassador somewhere. You don't get to do that, Shaq. No, you don't. You don't get to put this voodoo on this. The Chargers are going to win the game. And if they don't, you know what? Like, you have sold your soul to the fucking devil. Your hand again because it's not even normal.
I am about one game losing of selling my soul to the devil to win out the rest of the season.
You know, yeah, Shaq would definitely do that. He would do that.
I like this Malin rebuking Shaq's voodoo here. It's saying no more of this curse will be held over the show.
Voodoo doll somewhere, and if it's not in front of you, it's in his car. He does it every goddamn week. We make sensible picks.
And they go out the fucking window.
He agrees with us based off of emotion. He gets into his fucking car, leaving his house, and he starts stabbing something to make something happen. I refuse to believe that that's not happening right now on this show. It's ridiculous.
Oh, there's some sort of black magic under my thing, whether I mean it or not. So.
First of all, don't say black magic. I'm not John Gruden. Don't get me under that.
African American magic. Does that make you feel better?
It's a rainbow magic. That's what it is. I don't know what the fuck it is.
Well,
Ridiculous.
folks, we will have to see what ends up happening this coming weekend because it's about to be very interesting. There are some very opposite picks.
I will say this. If Pittsburgh wins, Shaq does not get to talk shit next week because he picked against them.
Agreed.
He does not get to come on this show next week and pick be like,
But
oh, yeah.
they have to win more than a field goal for me not to talk shit.
No. Points. You said by a touchdown or something is what you said. I don't even know what a touchdown or something means to you. But if Pittsburgh wins, you don't get to come on this show and be like, yeah, my team is great. No, fuck it. It's because the Chargers suck that game. You don't get the gloat.
We also did lose to Detroit the week before, so that's where I will talk my shit.
You tied. It might as well have been a loss.
Yes.
You
a tie to Detroit is a loss.
You tied to a team that has not won a game against a coach that wants to bite kneecaps off. So
and we'll never win a game at this rate. So
yes.
I think Dan Cable needs to take a page out of Mike McCarthy's book and put up the monkey butt photo on
damn right. Hey,
Friday.
You put some monkey butt powder on your ass and maybe you'll win a game because apparently that's why Dallas won.
I think they're gonna do it and they could win one random game that week. So
I left on the monkey butt front, the cover, it says in a big graphic on the side, for guys, as if any woman would ever dare use this product on their body.
If Detroit wins a game and he literally makes his team use monkey butt powder, You don't think Detroit's going to shoot that fucking powder out of a cannon onto the field before
They will take a blimp and spray over the city after the win.
Dan Campbell will be at a fucking press conference eating monkey butt powder, popping it into his mouth if they ever won a game because he made his team slap some powder on their ass.
Yes.
That's where we're at. I can't believe you took the Chargers 4.5 against your own team.
You literally just criticized me for choosing my emotions over anything, and then upset at me because I chose a reasonable choice of the Chargers to beat a team
You
that
didn't
just
even give like a real stat.
we literally just tied the Detroit Lions on the week before. You expect us to come out and blow out it.
You ain't wrong.
Well, okay, first of all, if you beat a team by 4.5, you're not blowing them out.
Okay, anyway, we just came out and just tied a team that scored 40 points in 4 quarters of football and got 40 yards on one play in overtime. And I don't understand what we're trying to do here. Yes, my team's going to lose if Mason Rudolph comes out as a starting quarterback. It might be competitive if Big Ben comes out.
I bet those defensive backs from the Chargers get some tender swipes from Mason Rudolph.
Exactly. That's the only way to win if they match.
Mid-game, too.
Exactly. They will match.
All of them. He's gonna wink at all of them.
It's like Mason Rudolph is like, I will pay for all the drinks if you let us win this game.
Anyway, folks, that'll be a show for us right there.
Ended off on the note of Mason Rudolph buying people drinks.
I'm extremely glad that we spent little to no time on Dwight Howard, on Ben Roethlisberger, on Russell Westbrook. That is a monumental show for us.
It's funny as hell that you spend every show at least talking about one of those people.
Some things happened in the NBA this last week, and we didn't even talk about it.
Well, folks, that's another reason for you to tune in next week for episode 60, where you can hear about what's going on.
Jalen knows you'll spend the next hour talking about that one. So I'm going to cut you off right there. I promise
We're not talking about Dwight Howard.
Just because we didn't talk about any of them this week, it means next week we're going to talk about all 3 of them.
Yep.
Next week we'll be talking about all 3 of them. Because one or two things going to happen. Big Ben's going to come out, they get his shit blown out.
And then throw in Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, the whole gang will be out next week.
Somebody's gonna say Dwight Howard's the best big man to touch a basketball next week.
We'll somehow be talking about Dwight Howard in the L's of the week next week.
Yes,
right.
Along with Big Ben getting shit blown out and losing the game.
Big Ben don't even have to play to show up in the L's of the week.
That's true.
Sit at home with his dementia and COVID.
Just dementia.
That man be like, listen, man, Brady eats avocado ice cream, and I'm going to be eating this caramel and pecan ice cream, and I'm going to
I throw it down this double quarter pounder.
I love how Jalen's trying to end the episode, and all we're
it's dragging this. It's like a date that went on way much longer than it should have. We already paid the check, and we're still sitting at this table. It's like, can we go?
Jalen's trying so hard to end it, and all we want to do is just keep talking shit about people.
I think subconsciously we drag it on because we know he's trying to end it. So it's like, let's go ahead and keep this rolling as far as we can. But anyway,
Evan's about to turn that light behind him into red and start going off on people.
Evan gives you the vibe that he always has a girl over when we're doing the show, and he's just laying over to the left of him.
right now, just laying right there.
She's just laying waiting for him to finish the show.
Got a date, right? Yep. He just looked at his date right there. Just looked at his date. He's like, listen, baby, I'm trying to get Shaq and Malin to shut up so I can spend some time.
It's like, I got business to handle. I'll be over there in a second. Y'all pay the bucks next week, so good luck. But anyway, thank you for showing.
All right, go ahead and end it.
Thank you all for listening and watching. We will see you all next week once the Panthers, Eagles, Raiders, Chiefs, and Chargers all win their games. See you all next week, and thank you for watching. Peace.
Peace.